well, and he's just an all-round fantastic guy.
Experience, not a bad cricketing brain to be able to pick.
No, we got him. Obviously, got Rehan that's played Test cricket now, and Rehan. To have those three guys in that side is massive.
That's interesting. Do you have some? Rehan has sort of a little bit of input as well these days.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still a teenager, isn't he?
Yeah, I like. In my form of captaincy and how I do it, I like to have anybody's opinion, to be honest with you, because anybody, whether they're young, whether they're experienced, can give you that little bit of gold that you need when you're out on the field or in the changing room. So everybody has an input, and it's just things you pick off each other, really.
How is he feeling at the minute, Rehan Ahmed? I mean, the world's at his feet in terms of the possibilities of his career, but, you know, having been here, there and everywhere, and, as you say, playing Test match cricket, how is he feeling to be back home and actually have an opportunity to play an extended period for Leicestershire?
Yeah, he loves coming back and playing, and we love having him. I said it before, and he's a cracking lad, and he's on the rise. Just how much he's improved from being with England for the winter to come back this season and watching to bat, and his bowler's got more control now in the Championship, where he's just a fantastic guy as well, and he'll keep going up and keep rising because he's high quality.
He hasn't really had the pitches to help him too much in the Championship so far. There's been so much water around, really. I mean, obviously the pitches are covered, but the water tables are so high, and the pitches are such a difficult job for all the ground staff. This looks a harder, lighter pitch than any I've seen in the Championship so far, actually, which is understandable because that's what you want for T20, but it might just suit Rehan's sort of leg spin a little bit more. He might just get a little bit more from it.
And I think he'll come into the season more when the pitches get drier as well, especially in T20 when the grounds have to get the pitches up quicker and quicker. There's obviously more in it for spin when they're using tired pitches, and I think his control this season that I've seen has gone through the roof. Again, I think you'll see the same today.
I mean, and not that he needs to impress or audition, but wouldn't be a bad evening to have a decent game with Mr. Joe Root in the opposing team.
It always helps, doesn't it? if you have a good game in front of those guys.
How looking at that lineup, we've touched upon it briefly, the Yorkshire lineup, but, you know, having the big names like Root, like Milan, how would you be looking to stop that?
I'd be that. Look, they've got this heavy top four, isn't it? It's heavy batting, and if you can, hence why the reason they're bowled first is they get most out of the pitch, and if you can knock 2 or 3 of them over early, you're well in that game. And I'd look to attack them and go and knock them over, basically.
You are listening to BBC Radio Leicester Sport, live from Grace Road, live T20 Blast action. Leicestershire, the opening game of their campaign against Yorkshire this evening. Lots of other T20 action, by the way, across the country tonight. One of 8 matches this evening on the opening weekend. Worcestershire Rapids against Lancashire Lightning. It's Durham against Birmingham Bears. Notts Outlaws against Northamptonshire. Glamorgan against Surrey. Somerset against Essex Eagles. Middlesex against Kent Spitfires. And Sussex Sharks against Gloucestershire. Elsewhere, by the way, in tennis, disappointing week at the French Open continued for Leicester's Katie Boulter this afternoon. She was knocked out in the opening round of the singles on Tuesday, and today fell at the same hurdle in the doubles with fellow Brit Heather Watson, her partner. And the sport across Leicestershire across Leicester doesn't stop this evening. Leicester Tigers women will close out their first ever Premiership season. That's tomorrow on the road at Exeter Chiefs. Kick-off is at 3 o'clock. Loughborough Lightning looking to continue their great run of form in the Netball Super League. They travel down to face Surrey Storm, who host their final home match after their remission from the reformatted league next year. Of course, Loughborough Lightning are included in that. Centre pass is from 6 o'clock, and of course we'll be live at Edgbaston tomorrow for more T20 action for the Foxes. East Midlands derby against Derbyshire. That game getting underway at 2:30. Lewis, we talked about the double header of opening weekend down, but how important to get a good start, and how big will it feel for these players, your teammates, to get a positive start in this competition?
Yeah, 100%. As you say, last year wasn't ideal, and to start the season off with a win would be a massive thing for us, and to show the supporters out there that we're in this competition to win it.
Well, the supporters are out there. Let's hope they'll be making noise like they were at Trent Bridge last season when Leicestershire won the one-day cup. The players heading out there, Leicestershire won the toss. They chose to field, so I'll hand to your commentary team, Richard Ray and Adam Whitty, and I'm delighted to say also joined the voice you've just been hearing, Leicestershire club captain Lewis Hill.
Players have headed out into the middle, preceded by the two umpires, Rob Bailey and Hassan Adnan. And the two Yorkshire opening batters, and what a pair they are, Adam Lyth and Dawid Malan. Yorkshire this season sporting a sort of, well, I suppose Cambridge blue. Obviously, that light blue is part of the Yorkshire, the Yorkshire kit, and a yellow and obviously white, but it's a sort of powder blue outfit. They've had a few shockers over the years, and I speak as a Yorkshireman, I have to admit, but I don't mind this one too much. Leicestershire in full green, basically, in Leicester green, in Fox's green perhaps, is the best way to put it. And they are going to open the bowling, interestingly, with a little bit of spin, and it's going to be Lewis Kimber.
Wow.
And I'm not surprised that they're starting with spin. Louis is still learning about off spin, so this is a big responsibility for him.
I think the two left-handers as well. I think that's probably why they've gone with the right arm spin.
I'll go first, Richard, and then you finish. So it will be Kimber. The sun just about poking out of the clouds as well as the T20 Blast gets underway at Grace Road. The floodlights on, healthy crowd too. And it's the most exciting part of the season. The two men in the deep, Rehan Ahmed, a deep fine leg. There's a deep mid-wicket too as Kimber bowls and is whipped away down to that deep fine leg where Ahmed will field, and Yorkshire off and underway. They are one for no loss.
A little bit short from Louis.
That would have been nice to land to deep square leg, wouldn't it?
Would,
Just to start the season.
hands, yeah.
Lyth and Malan, a formidable opening pair. Lyth's got a brilliant record against Leicestershire, particularly here. And I was wondering why I could hear myself back, because I've got the stream on as Kimber comes in away from us. He's up to the wicket, he bowls, and that's outside the off stump. That's carved away for 4 behind square. And there's the first boundary for Yorkshire. Dawid Malan, the England international, has cut that for 4. That's a nice shot, but probably a little bit loose at the start from Kimber. 5 for no loss with 2 balls gone in the innings.
I suppose alternatively, Saul Budinger bowls a little bit of off spin, doesn't he?
Yeah, but they're the two off spinners we've got in this team today.
I'm afraid so.
Kimber tosses it up, and this is driven, and that beats cover and is racing away down to the boundary. Hanscom is chasing, but he loses the battle.
I feel it's fast tonight after those first two.
Yeah, it was hit straight into the ground, wasn't it, by Malan? But did have the pace to carry it past Budinger, who's at cover, and then Hanscom at mid-off was racing towards it. So just a reminder of how the teams did last year. Leicestershire winning 2 of their 14 games. Yorkshire's bizarre season, really, so I'll get to in just a moment, is Kimber. Tall man up to the wicket, tosses this one up. This one is more defensively played out towards point. Yorkshire would have got through to the quarter-finals, but they were deducted 4 points as a result of the racism allegations that engulfed the club over the past couple of years. Kimber in, and that kept low a little bit. Malan went back, was able to respond well enough to it, plays it out to cover. There is no run. So 9 for no loss, final ball of the first over. Just to our right-hand side over the houses in Ayleston, I see, what is he, sort of yellow sky, as that's shorter from Kimber straight to point. Kimber's got away with one there, so that is the end of the over. A tale of 2 halves, really. 9 off the first 3 deliveries, none off the final 3. But to be fair, Malan and Lyth had already hit the runs they needed off that over. Everything else was a bit of a freebie. So it is Leicestershire against Yorkshire as the T20 Blast returns on BBC Radio Leicester. And a very good evening to you. By the way, if you do want to listen, we're available on BBC Sounds. You're just about to head out, FM, DAB, as we are with all of our games. And also, we're on the stream if you want to watch it. The Radio Leicester coverage is on the stream on YouTube. Search for Fox's TV.
I suppose the best we can say about that one is it could have been worse, really, after those first 3 balls, which sounds a bit cruel.
Yeah, no, he
did hit his length a bit.
Yeah, he closed that over out quite nicely in the end there to end up with just 9 after 3 balls was a good recovery from him. It was.
Well, Josh Holt is going to come down the slope from the Bennett end, looking to swing it away from the left-handed Adam Lyth, and Louis Kimber has gone in at slip. Hull then is in and bowls, good length, straight-ish delivery on towards middle and leg, and worked by Lyth, waited for that, pushed it out to mid-on. Scott Curry, the fielder out there, no run.
Last time he had the white ball in his hand.
Yes, he did, didn't he? He was running around Trent Bridge.
Bowled the last ball of the
He sure did.
One Day Cup final.
Very calm individual. That's what I did get from that day. Very calm.
What was it, 4 to win off the final ball for Hampshire? And it was just the one.
Crazy.
He waits, little dance at the start of his run-up, and long strides, comes in and bowls full. Ooh, leading edge from Lyth, looking to work that on the leg side. Came off the leading edge. He got away with it to a certain extent there, Adam Lyth. It flew out towards cover. Ahmed for a moment thought it might be heading his way, just went past and moving across to his right from mid-off. The skipper makes the stop. Lyth picks up 1, moves on to 2 and wanders down to have a word with Malan, who I noticed when he's coming out of the restaurant seemed to be limping, but he seems okay now anyway.
Just gave the indication there's a little bit of swing on offer there as well, I think, by the hand gesture.
Yep, certainly squared Lyth up to a certain extent, at a lively pace as well. Malan now no longer an England international, but a superb international career behind him, and Hull goes in, bowls to him, he forces it off the back foot, bounces up towards Rehan Ahmed, who doesn't do Ben Cox any favours with that throw. He hurls it towards Cox and it bounces just in front of him. He holds up both hands in apology, but again came onto the bat nicely. This is a harder,
nice
quicker
wicket,
pitch than we've had so far.
Yeah, it does look. It looks a lovely pitch from the first 9 deliveries of this game.
It really does. It looks to be runs in it. 2 men out, 3rd man, and deep backward square. That's the usual way of things. Hull is in and bowls, tucking up Malan, but he's equal to it, just works it away off the back foot out towards mid-wicket. Leanne Mulder, the fielder there. I'm thinking, is it Mulder out there?
Yeah.
Just thinking, we do not think we have ever seen, oh, don't say it, Richard, but I'm going to say it anyway, that Vian has never dropped a cat. It just has the safest pair of hands.
Yeah, he does.
What's this next ball? Go straight to him. Please don't. Please don't. 10 without loss then. Super over so far from Hull. In he goes and bowled him! Ball that swung and went past the outside edge, hit the top of off stump. What a delivery from Josh Hull, a huge blow. Well, wow, what a ball from Hull. What a start to his white ball season.
Fantastic delivery of that. Like Lyth did gesture to Malan that he was swinging, and that looks a top delivery, top of off stump bashed.
You could just look at that. He just got his length right immediately, hadn't he? You could tell there's a nice bit of movement away. That was a beauty.
It's the beauty of a delivery of that.
When I went out beforehand watching Josh Hull in the warm-up, and he was sort of bowling his slow, in inverted commas, bouncers and things like that, practicing his variation probably for his sort of last 2 overs at the end of the innings, something like that, but he was still coming through at a fair old pace.
In any format, if you hit that top of that off stump consistently, you will get your reward, and Hull has showed this from this first over.
He is, by a margin, probably the quickest bowler at the club at the moment. But that was a beauty, and it was too good for Malan. See what Shan Masood, Stanford school pupil, so knows this area well. Yeah. And like a number, like Zach Chappell, people like that, and of course like Josh Hull. So Josh Hull comes in and bowls to Masood outside off stump, a very airy waft at the delivery which bounced and left him. It was too short to play that shot, too early really for Masood, but didn't get the edge. Got away with it, the Yorkshire captain, but what an over from Josh Hull. 1 run conceded, 1 huge wicket taken.
To put this into context tonight, Yorkshire have already started their T20 campaign. They absolutely hammered Worcestershire last night at Headingley. Bowled out Worcestershire for 101 and then got it in about 12 overs. I think Adam Lyth, who's still at the crease, getting a 50 there. Still to come for Yorkshire. Some guy called Joe Root. Apparently he's pretty decent. Then their international overseas player Donovan Ferreira. And then, as you say, they're a bit top heavy, straight into the all-rounders at number 6 in Jordan Thompson. So change of bowling. It'll be Ian Holland, joined on loan last week, and his first delivery is straight across the left-hander Lyth, who pushes it into the covers. Interesting fact about Ian Holland, did you know that he started his professional career by winning a reality TV show?
Yeah, wasn't it called cricket icon or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I've heard this story. I haven't actually asked him about it yet. I'm thinking about it.
It was an Australian show. He's bored. He's American, isn't he?
Wisconsin born.
From Wisconsin. He kicks up his heels as he moves towards us now, and a big heave from Lythe, and a half-hearted appeal because of a fear of a inside edge. It didn't get anything. That was a nearly mood to that. That was such a heave from Adam Lythe down towards Cow Corner, but he didn't connect. 10 for 1 the score remains.
I think that's a very good take as well, because that looks like it's swung after the bat.
Got the replays in front of us on a slight delay. Brilliant take down to his left as Holland bowls, and that's inside edge. Attempted late cut straight into the ground that goes to mid-off. No run.
It deflected off his thigh.
There you go.
Bounced up and moved away off Lythe's sort of back thigh above the pad.
There's a healthy crowd in tonight. Plenty of people coming in late. I have a feeling, and we discussed this, didn't we? People probably judged whether to either turn up on the door based on what the weather was going to do.
It's a really good crowd over there.
Yeah, it does.
As Holland up to the wicket bowls. This one's full, and again a huge swipe at that.
Slower ball.
Decent slower ball from Holland, and Lythe was nowhere near that. Hit a 90 off 60 balls in the last meeting at Headingley, did Adam Lythe.
I've seen he's got 100 here before as well. I remember.
Yeah, it was the first game of the year, wasn't it?
And it was a near record score, I think, in the T20s.
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't
That was it. Yeah.
Holland moving away from us. That's on leg stump clipped, and he's lucky there, Holland, as it goes straight to short fine leg where Hull is waiting. No run.
Started off really nicely here, these first 3 overs, especially after the first one went for 9. For these next, 11 balls to go for 1 run. We've bowled really smartly.
It's a really good comeback. They look up for it.
And they
Foxes look up for this.
He's on a maiden here, is Holland. Black haired. Bouncing run up past the umpire, bowls, that's straight and clipped. That's going to be a single out to Rehan Ahmed, a deep backward square leg. So that is the end of the over. And what a good over. Just 1 from it from Holland, 11 for 1, 2 big heaves from Lythe that didn't connect. And Leicestershire will be pretty happy with that. The run rate at 3.7.
Yeah, lovely.
And as we've been hinting at all evening, it's sort of like a yellow sky out to our right-hand side. As the sun sets and the clouds dissipate. So quite a nice evening in Leicester might be a bit of a stretch. An improving evening in Leicester.
As long as it's dry,
Yeah,
that's
as
all
long
we
as it's
care
dry.
about. Josh Hull is in from the Bennett end. Bowls, Lythe drives hard down into the ground. Wasn't at the pitch of the ball. He got on top of the bounce and hit it fairly crisply, but Rehan Ahmed on the mat that's covering, well, a wicket that's going to be used in the fairly near future, one imagines, makes a decent stop. Still just 11 for 1, so only the 2 runs added since the first 3 balls of the game. And the popular seats, the Uptonsteel stand are pretty much filling up now. Also the Bennett end.
No, it's great to see, isn't it? Great to see the supporters in today.
Isn't it? Hull is in and bowls. Lythe hits in the air. Oh, just over mid-wicket. Dived away to his left there, Rehan Ahmed. He went with his sort of wrong hand, goalkeeper style, and I thought he was going to get there. I'm not going to put that down as a chance because I don't think he actually got a finger to it, but came not off the middle at all from Lythe, but he did get it wide of Mulder. And anyone you would back on the Leicestershire side to get there, it would have been Rehan, and he nearly did, but he didn't quite get there. So 4 to Adam Lythe. He moves on to
a shot that that's brought by pressure, isn't it, that shot there?
Yeah, hint of desperation about it. Hull is in and bowls. Lythe waits for it just outside off stump, dabs it down through gully, down towards the sort of wide-ish third man. Ben Mike is down there. Lythe takes 1.
What's he like to face, Hull?
He is fast. It's the bounce and the height it comes from, yeah. And when he gets it right, it swings beautifully, as you've seen by that first wicket.
Would a Stuart Broad comparison be a bit lazy? Because I look at it with similar sort of action in terms of being quite chest on.
Yeah, tall as well.
Tall, pacey.
He's got a good future ahead of him. Josh.
And he goes past the pile of sawdust and bowls to Masood. He's bowled down the leg side, and that will be signalled wide. Nice take by Ben Cox, falling away, of course, to his right, but immediately umpire Bailey steps out. No, beg your pardon, it's umpire Masood at that end. Adnan, get there in the end. Hassan Adnan standing at the Bennett end. Rob Bailey. First time I think we've seen him this season. He's standing at square.
Yeah, we haven't had him this year, have we, Rob Bailey?
No,
we haven't.
But we have had Hassan a few times already. I've still got a few Rob Bailey mugs, believe it or not. He may still have it, a ceramics company.
Oh, really?
In goes Hull, and bowls outside off stump. There's appeal for a catch behind, but only from Ben Cox. It was once again slightly airy waft from Shan Masood. He is wont to play that shot early on his innings.
It's a great length again, isn't it? It's a great length to bowl in the power play.
Absolutely.
If you get hit off that length, you don't mind. It's got to be a good shot, but it's a great length he's holding here.
It's hard for him to hit off the front foot to that length, certainly.
Exactly.
Wait for it, but
he's just nipping it away as well, off the seam. Lovely shape, lovely length.
Shape will only last a few overs, remember? Well, almost certainly, unless the white balls have changed this year, but I suspect not. Hull is in, bowl straight this time. Masood works it out to mid-wicket and has to quickly retreat into his ground as in came Mulder, hurled it at the stumps. I suspect he'd have just about scrambled back into his ground, but there really wasn't a run there. At least Lythe wouldn't have been in the same postcode.
Hey, we look sharp, don't we?
They crossed, but yeah, absolutely.
We're looking very sharp.
17 for 1.
6 off the over so far.
Yeah, one slightly fortuitous fall, worked out through mid-wicket aerially. 17 for 1 off 3.5. Remember, 6 over power play to start with, only 2 men allowed outside the circle. Hull back from his forehead, in and bowls again that super line, and Masood works it forward. It's going to have to hurry there, is Lythe, because Ahmed actually didn't quite get there. It went through to Hanscom, but in the end it was a good call. But again, the fact that they felt they had to take the run, just a sign, a little bit of hint of the pressure that the two Yorkshire batters are under at the moment. 4 overs have gone, 18 for 1. Adam Lythe has 8 off 12. Shan Masood just that single off 4 balls. Hull 1 for 8 from 2 overs.
Yeah, fantastic start. It'd be interesting to see if he bowls that next over that end, or they wait for one in the middle and one at the end.
What would you do, Holly, in this circumstances? Put you on the spot?
I'd probably hold him, bowl one in the middle and leave him one for the death, because I think he's really effective in all areas of the game, to be honest with you.
Scott Curry, they're changing the bowling at the pavilion end every over. Consistency so far at the Bennett end. Scott Curry's been a revelation so far this season.
You can see the progress a little bit with each game he plays, really. It's really interesting.
He's running away from us now, up to the wicket, bowls, that's driven, and that beats mid-off and short extra cover and flashes away for 4 down towards the boundary. Just a little bit too much width. It wasn't too bad a shot, I have to say, from Shan Masood. 4 runs to the left-hander.
I'm pretty sure a few years ago Scott had a full season in the Hampshire side and ended up leading wicket taker in 2022 roughly. Yeah.
Curry's bowling across Masood, and this is given a bit of width. It's high in the air, but there's nobody out at deep cover, and so that runs away for 4. Wasn't an entirely convincing stroke, but it dribbles over the boundary rope nonetheless. Too much width from Curry early on in his first over, and it's allowing Masood to sort of free his arms, free of too much risk. 26 for 1 is the score.
If he's going to bowl out there, going to have to put...
Which they have done, to be fair.
Yeah, behind me. Vian's gone out there.
4 balls left of the 5th over. Run rate at a run a ball as Curry runs in, bowls. It's a slower delivery straight on the wickets and clipped into the leg side. Where Ben Mike feels back in a Leicestershire shirt against his old side.
Sure is. Hopefully he had the first game in the Champions season there. He had quite a very, very, very handy game, so he'll be hoping he does the same today and proves to those guys as well.
Well, you remember, he pretty much won, along with David Visa. He won the game here.
Yeah, he did.
For Yorkshire. Come to that in a moment as Scott Curry, 32 on his back, brown hair, runs in, bowls. That's a high uppercut. That's a lovely shot in front of square. And that races away for 4. This is an expensive over for Leicestershire. 13 off it already. And Adam Lythe this time breaking free, loosening the shoulders, and that has sped away to the boundary rope. He's on to 12, Adam Lythe. Masood on 10, 31 for 1 is the score. Curry past the umpire then. What's his reply? He brings this one back into the pitch. A slow ball. I think he saw Masood coming down the pitch. And we've got one ball left in the over. Yes, he got 30, didn't it? So, Yorkshire, I remember, was 78 for 7.
Yeah.
Here.
I think I actually captained that game because I think Colin got injured a couple of days before it, if I remember. Yeah, and Ben and Visa got 50, and I think Ben must have been about 35 not out, 30 not out or something.
Yeah, he got 30 off 17 balls and took 2 wickets too. Curry, final ball of the over, and that's cut off the back foot. That's a lovely shot. That's probably the best shot of the day so far. Waited for it and pushed it off the back foot for 4 runs. And that has put a slightly sour end to well, we've still got 1 over left of the power play, but 18 off the over in the end, goodness me, from Curry, and that has given the Yorkshire innings a bit of a lift. 36 for 1 they are after 5 overs, and we've got 1 over left in the power play. You're listening to live T20 cricket, the return of on BBC Radio Leicester and on Fox's TV. And we'll bring you every ball, by the way, on BBC Radio Leicester. If you love your cricket, love your T20 cricket, we're on FM and DAB and BBC Sounds for all of Leicester's T20 games.
So, 6 overs, 6 changes for the Foxes. Ben Mike is going to bowl over number 6, so they have taken Josh Hull off. There must have been, as Hilly said, a temptation to leave him on bowling as well as he was with the hard white ball, which still was swinging a little bit, but Ben will not lack for motivation.
No, he won't.
As he comes in from the Bennett end, bowls to Adam Lyth, who swings it back, it's gone, bowled! What a catch! Came off the bottom part of the bat, and okay, it wasn't going as fast as it might have been, but it is still very, very difficult to take those in your follow through. 2 hands up to his left, Ben Mike hung on, and inevitably perhaps he has struck with his first ball in white ball cricket against his former county.
Yeah, that's a good catch in the run through. I'd say he's not hit it cleanly, but it's always a tough catch when you're catching off your own bowling.
He tried a few of those, hadn't he, Lyth? He tried to hoik it across the line.
Again, when you build up dot balls in the power play as an opening batter, you do get a bit panicky. And what was he, 13 off 15? He finished there, so he's obviously under a bit of pressure, and it's a good wicket to get. You always aim for kind of 2-3 wickets in the power play. If you get 3 wickets in the power play, there's quite a high percentage of keeping them under a certain score.
Exactly that. Somebody has worked it out. 3 in the power play, the percentage of games that you then win is remarkably high.
And as I say, we spoke about it before, they've got a kind of top-heavy batting lineup, so 1 more wicket here would be, especially this guy, would be fantastic.
Yeah. Joe Root, 66, Root 66 on his back. Joe Root and Shan Masood, not bad. What can Ben Mike do? In he comes, bowls to Root, who forces away off the back foot, gets up on his toes, but he can't get it away through backward point. Fielder there, Ian Holland. I'm still getting used to 22. Holland's number. Will do soon. Takes me time.
Don't know, has anybody been 22 in your time? I'm trying to think myself, to be honest with you, and I can't remember. Might be missing somebody obvious, but
Lewis Goldsworth is apparently taking 44, which was Rainey's number, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
For so long. Mike, as the sun comes out, is in, bowl straight to Root, works it again quite delicately in that sort of Root style turn of the wrist, pushing it out towards straight mid on. The first chant of Leicestershire comes out from the popular seats. Stench will be in there somewhere, no doubt.
Be in the middle of it, I reckon.
He will.
We haven't heard the Vuvuzela yet.
No, it's banned.
It's been banned, has it?
Yeah, they've banned it, I'm afraid.
That's why the scorer doesn't like it, that's why, probably.
I thought it might have tooted its last anyway. It's very old Vuvuzela, but no, they've been banned. In goes Mike and bowls Root drive. Pleasantly, oh, great stop. Diving to his right. Brilliant piece of work out there. Who's that out there? Is it Vienna again?
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah. Beautiful piece of work. Diving to his right and falling almost off the ground, got his throw away as well, and made Masood hurry to get into his ground. So quick was it, actually, that Cox wasn't able to get up to the stumps in time, but plenty of backing up going on. So Budinger, good to see him for the first time this season. 37 for 2 balls to go in the power play. At the moment, you would say, given the pitch, it's Leicestershire's power play.
There's one more wicket here. These 2 balls would be massive to get. Is it don't know, is Ferreira indexed at 5?
I would
Obviously
imagine
didn't bat
so.
the other day.
No, he didn't
so
have to bat, did he? He has to come in 5, doesn't he, when you look at the rest of their lineup?
Say Thompson 6
Thompson
and Revis
has to be
7.
6.
They're very high.
There's two batting,
That's-
two sort of all-rounders. Mike is into Masood. Got that one wrong. Ben Mike speared it down the leg side. Masood ignored it. Umpire Adnan did not ignore it.
It's been a nice over so far. It's quite commonly known that this over is the hardest to bowl in the power play. That the last over, because people tend to target a lot more than the other 5. So
yeah, we need to get to our target off the power play or whatever. Well, it's been pretty good so far for Ben Mike. Just the 2 runs conceded as he comes in and bowls, whipped away, pulled away down to deep backward square. But there is a deep backward square. Holland's down there, so it is just a single.
Do you set a target for a power play?
Not particularly. I think you have a look at like the first 2 overs in general, and then you kind of get a gauge from that. If you don't lose a wicket, you're looking at above 50 as a good power play. To be honest with you, anywhere 50s to 60 is a pretty good power play.
Back over the wicket, of course, to the right-handed route. Mike bowls. It stays a little bit low. Hits him on the back pad as he went back. Was going down leg side though. It bounces out towards short leg.
Rehan Ahmed, I imagine this next
leg by
over.
is taken. Yeah. End of the power play. 40-for-2. On this track, I would say that is a pretty decent effort from the Foxes.
Absolutely, yeah. We're interested to see how our main spinner goes now. See if there's any turn on offer. Bear in mind they've got 3 spinners in their team, so it'll be interesting passenger play this over.
So it is Rehan. Did you spot him taking his cap off, or is that just ingenuity from you,
pure
Lewis?
Intuition. And
Yeah, I'd like to say so. I didn't see him walking from the boundary.
So Rehan Ahmed then, youngest man to debut for England in all 3 formats, isn't it?
It was, yeah.
7 tests now to his name.
Yeah, amazing. He's only 19 still, isn't he? As well.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Still a teenager.
Amazing. So much more improving to do, which is scary.
2 really impressive 19-year-olds. We've seen Josh Hull bowl brilliantly at the start of this innings as well. Yorkshire 40-for-2. Joe Root and Shan Masood, 2 international batters in at the moment. And Ahmed will bowl from the pavilion end. Spins the ball from his right hand to his left. I'll always remember him getting his first wicket with his first ever ball for Leicestershire. That one is outside the off stump and is left alone. Well, no, it's not left alone. What we're talking about, it's attempted cut. Well collected by Cox. Off to the offside. Ahmed straight back into it. Bowls his leg spin. This one's straighter and flatter, and it's with a big flick of the wrists, pushed down the ground by Root, who's played plenty. It's been nice to see him, actually. Nice to see Ben Stokes playing county cricket. Nice to see Joe Root playing county cricket.
It's great to see all of them playing, to be fair, isn't it? And it's always good to come up against these players, because, funny enough, I was in the Darren Lehman Academy years ago with Joe Root.
Were you?
Yeah, which is really interesting. It's really nice that he always remembers my name and says hi, Lewis, which is very nice for him.
Ahmed 16 on his back. Oh, he forces Shan Masood back. That was a really nice ball, just pitched up a little bit. It's clipped into the leg side. There's 2 men out there, nobody on the infield, and so that will just be a single to Masood, who moves on to 16. The score 42-for-2.
Just hurrying on a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, just skidding along. Yeah.
Change of field, right and left-handers, so people moving around in the field. Rehan Ahmed now ready to bowl. He drags this one down. That's well played. He must have seen Root coming down early, and all Root can do is just...
I think in general these T20 wickets they don't generally spin because of how good they are, to be honest with you.
Ahmed up to the wicket, bowls. Back goes Root and pushes this down the ground off the back foot. So he will move on to 3. 3 off 8. For the former England captain, 140 tests to his name.
Yeah, it's why Leicestershire had to bring in an alternative once Liam Travaskis has sort of got his injury, really.
Here is Ahmed. This one's nicely tossed up on a decent length and clipped into the leg side, where Curry will field and whip it in. So what was Joe Root like? How old were you then?
I would have been 19, 20.
19, 20.
I don't think he played a test match by then. Actually, a funny story. We were the T20 last year he played, didn't he? And I was keeping wicket. And he turned around and he said, "All right, Lewis, you all right?" And I went, "Hey, I'm all right, Joe, you?" And I also said, "Our careers have gone different ways since Darren leaving the academy." He just laughed. He was like, "No, I still see what you're doing. You're doing really well." And that was, I say, a nice thing to know, that people still know your name even though they've played how many tests you say, 140, and I think that is how good a bloke he is.
He always comes across as a grounded lad, and the fact that he comes back to play for Yorkshire when he can, without exhausting himself, he does love to play for his home county.
Yeah, it is nice. Obviously, these England guys are contracted by England, so they're very much driven by what the England management want, and not the county sides.
Yeah. Sometimes they want to, and they're actually told no.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
Exactly.
Ian Holland is going to bowl his second over, this time from the Bennett end, over number 8 of the Yorkshire innings. In he comes and bowls fullish, driven by Masood, out too long on. One is taken. Don't mind singles. Leicestershire, they would dearly love to part these two, though. Not one of the Outlaws going up the Milligan Road. That sounded like a motorbike, but not one of the Harleys. I've seen them a few times already this season.
Did you say there's a chap to it?
Yes, just one of the houses, just next to those businesses over there. Got a big symbol up there. The Outlaws. In goes Holland. Bowls, root hits high, beautifully timed towards long on, but is he going to be caught? He is caught! Well, he was chipped up there. It looked well timed. It wasn't as well timed as initially I thought it was going to be, and in the end, straight into the bread basket at long on, and the Foxes have picked up their third wicket, and what a huge wicket it is. Ian Holland has picked up, I think, his very first wicket for Leicestershire, because he didn't manage one in the county championship, but he struck early here. 45 for 3.
It's a nice first wicket, that, isn't it, to get Joe Root out, and as I said, we said a minute ago, they're very top heavy, this batting lineup, so it'll be interesting to see how much depth they've got.
Well, this guy's intriguing, Donovan Ferreira.
Has been in the IPL, hasn't he? Has he come straight from the IPL?
Yeah.
He's just played a couple of
T20Is for South Africa,
South Africa, hasn't he? Yeah, not. You can see. Yeah, he's an international, but I wouldn't say he was necessarily established.
He's played 60-odd T20. Still a very young guy. He can do all three. Stand behind the stumps. He bowls off spin.
He bowls off spin as well.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like me. That seems.
How many times have you bowled?
I've seen you bowl.
About 7 overs.
Any wickets?
No, I've also got a good story about that as well, actually, between Cosgrove and McDonald and myself.
Holland then into Ferreira, who is careful.
Nice start.
Full on-off stump, and he's pushing it carefully out to his compatriot, Mulder. That extra cover.
Yeah, lovely start. Great start from the guys out there.
They really do look as though they fancy this, the Foxes. And it could go the distance. Bright sunshine at long last. We've waited all day for this, and finally it is taking the edge off the sort of dampness and the coldness that's been hanging around East Midlands all day. It's going to be a lovely evening. Holland is in, bowls straight, leaning forward. Ferreira just turns his wrists on the defensive push back up the pitch. It goes to Ian Holland. 45 for 3, 7.4. So the run rate is actually below 6s.
Yeah. I always like it when our bowlers bowl straight here at Grace Road, because you have to, if you miss, you're in the game. The old saying, you miss it, you hit the stumps. Holland,
knees pumping, is in, bowls slightly wide outside off stump and hitting rather across the line, sort of slightly baseball style there. Ferreira gets it away cleanly enough out towards Scott Curry, who's at long off. There isn't a mid-off, and he takes 46 for 3. An awful lot on Shan Masood's shoulders now. 18 off 12. He's hit some cracking shots, particularly off Scott Curry early on. But he's got to anchor. You don't anchor a T20 innings, but you've got to hang around. In goes Holland and bowls. Masood waits for the slower ball, tries to cut it away. No foot movement, might even have cut over the top of it. And it went through to Cox. An extremely good over, effective over from Ian Holland. Just the 2 runs conceded and a huge wicket, that of Joe Root, for just 3. 8 overs gone, 46, Yorkshire for 3.
And Holland's figures, 2 overs, 1 for 3.
Yeah, you'll take that, won't you? He looks like he's, as we've seen from that, again, the one-day cup final last year, he's got good skills with the white ball. He rolls his hands over it, bowls kind of a leg cutter as a slower ball, and it looks really effective at this stage.
Just 9 runs off the past 3 overs. And here is Rehan Ahmed, straight back to it. He's up to the wicket, he bowls, tosses this one up almost in the half volley. Ferreira is forward to flick it into the leg side. It's fielded by Holland, straight back into the action. Yes, the clouds sort of fading away to the left and the clear skies coming into view. Crowd you might just be able to hear in the background coming to life too. That's a straight delivery, that's a nice leg spinner from Ahmed. Bit of pace, forcing Shan Masood forward, who's 18 not out of 14 deliveries. Yorkshire 47 for 3 in the T20 Blast. Ahmed follows Shan Masood, who was moving away to the leg side, and it cracks into Masood's pads.
He's unlucky not to go back straight back onto the stumps then, to be fair. Looked very close.
Yeah, it went behind square on the offside. Want to replay of that in a second. You're right, that wouldn't have missed by much. Ahmed in, straight delivery, back goes Ferreira, making room for himself and cracks it down the field. Too long on. And again, how many from this over so far? Just the 3. Leg by off the previous delivery, a single off that. Ferreira 3 off 5. Masood on 19. In comes Ahmed. Bowls, that's a decent delivery, straight again, and sort of zipped off the pitch towards Masood, but it's clipped into the leg side. They run 2. That's good running from this pair.
That was nicely placed, wasn't it, to be fair? There is room for a little bit of rebuilding in T20. It looks like they're trying to do that just for an over or so.
There's a short fine leg in, and everybody else out in the deep on the leg side. The boundary's dragged right in towards the old scoreboard as Ahmed is in. Was that the googly?
It was.
I believe it was.
And Shan Masood was onto it. It was probably just a little bit back of the length, which allowed Masood to read it. He pats it into the leg side. Single taken. 52 for 3 is the score after 9 overs. And again, Yorkshire still going at under a run a ball. This is going, I hate to jinx it, this is going very well for Leicestershire at the moment. Commentator's curse. I think it's probably the worst in all sports, the cricket commentating curse, but this is going well so far. They have got the 3 wickets, got rid of Live, Milan and Root, all players who have played for England.
Holland's going to continue, unsurprisingly, to the left-handed Masood. Sun which did pop out, just struggling back out.
Got
again
5
now.
in here as well.
We have. In goes Holland and bowls, big swing and a thick inside edge from Masood. It's trickling down towards backward square. Rishi Patel. I don't think it may be the first time he's been in the game. He comes running in and fields, and 1 is taken, but that really could have gone anywhere. Holland directing traffic now. Right-handed Ferreira will be on strike. Budinger comes across, goes to the edge of the circle at extra cover. Mulder's going wider towards mid-off. There is also a long off. Ben Cox tells Mulder to go a little bit squarer, so they're actually fairly close to each other at extra cover. In goes Holland and bowls straight work, leaning forward Ferreira and pushing it firmly out towards long on. Takes 1, thrown back on the bounce by Curry. 1 is taken. 54 for 3. Nice murmur around the Uptonsteel County Ground, Grace Road. Crowd enjoying this one.
It's fantastic to see so many people in, especially with this T20. It means a lot to people at Leicester, and see these guys here supported is great to see.
It is. Probably about 3,500, something like that. In goes Holland. Bowls, goes past the outside. It doesn't miss the off stump of Shan Masood by so very much. Nicely bowled again by Holland.
Yeah, really nice length that one, wasn't it? Not much width on offer. He tried to squirt it through point area.
Just needed a touch of in-swing there, didn't he? Just to clip the top of off stump. In he goes. Bowls again to Masood. Slower ball, beautifully played by Masood. It was just enough width for Masood to delicately play a late cut. Very fine, went through about second slip, and although Josh Hole's in there at short third, and a fairly fine short third, ball still had enough just to run down the slope to the fine third man boundary for 4. Beautiful shot.
It's quite a nice, delicate shot, that, wasn't it? It's quite a a tight area between the keeper and third man there.
Classy shot from Masood. He's moved on to 23. In goes Holland, bowls to him again. It's straight. He's working it across the line, rather out towards long on. Ferreira's a little bit slow in running. He's quite a big chap, and turns to see that Hanscom was already on the ball running in from long on. And the skipper got there quickly enough to prevent any chance of a second. 59 for 3. Masood 28 off 21 now. Ferreira still just playing his way into the game at the moment. 1 ball to go in the 10th. In he goes, down the leg side, helped on its way by Ferreira. He got that fine again. Cox couldn't get there. Again, Hull couldn't get there. So I think it was slightly fortuitous. I'm not sure he was looking to hit that quite as fine as he did, but even so, slightly expensive over by the standards of Leicestershire's bowling in this attack so far. 63 for 3 after 10. Masood 28 off 21. Ferreira 8 off 7. Very much, I think, Hilly, Leicestershire's first 10 out, 63 for 3. You'd take that from a bowling point of view, but these two are getting established.
Yeah, absolutely. You take it halfway, going at 6 and over. As I say, these two all look like they're getting in, so it'd be nice to just take a wicket with Rehan here and just you can put that pressure back on them, whoever comes in next.
Game in the balance, this innings in the balance. Rehan Ahmed will bowl his 3rd over, 0 for 10 are his figures so far. He's up to the wicket, tosses this one up, driven beautifully down the ground. It's a chase on for long on and long off. It is long off who wins the battle. They both converged on at the same time, and 2 runs have been scored. Is that Curry down in front of us who fielded that?
Yeah, I don't know who fielded the other side there. I think there was a little relay. Pete, maybe?
Yeah, he's been fielding there so far in the innings.
It is Pete down there, yeah. Difficult for a captain in T20 when you're not that close to if you're going to be fielding on the boundary sometimes, or is it?
Yeah, no, it is, but you'd hope that the guys you hope the guys know their fields as well and know what delivery to bowl to certain batters, and the keeper plays a big part in that as well.
Ferreira 8 off 7. Ahmed bowls to him. Oh, and this doesn't bounce, and I think that might have got an inside edge. It's going to trickle away for 4. As fine as you can possibly imagine. Ben Cox is frozen in his pose for some time after that because it just dropped on him. And I presume he signalled 4 off the bat. I just missed the umpire's signal there, but it was 4 off the bat inside edge.
Is that a technical chance? I suppose it is in a way.
Yeah, well, not as that's a tough chance as a wicket-keeper. Tough chance.
Ahmed up to the wicket, bowls again. This one's dragged back, and that's crunched baseball style by Ferreira down the ground. Goodness me, timed that well. A lot of power in that, a lot of bottom hand, and got a single down to long.
Seems to be staying back, doesn't he, in his crease and playing a lot off the back foot, especially to the spin, even to the seamer.
Ahmed is up to the wicket. This one's tossed up. That's driven by Masood straight at cover, and they're going to go for a quick single because it was misfielded. Well, when I say it was misfielded, it sort of squirted out of the hands of Holland. He stopped it. It was beautifully timed. That's probably a pretty sensible run.
Hit it hard, didn't he, there too? Hit it very hard.
No, it's very difficult. It would have been good fielding to catch it on the clean, to be honest, or to stop it on the clean. Here comes Ahmed. Flatter delivery, back of a length, and that's cut straight to cover. They run the single again. That's pretty much carbon copy, really. Hit very, very hard, and they scamper through for a single because it wasn't collected cleanly. 71 for 3 is the score. One ball left in the 11th over. That's Masood, 30 not out. Ahmed comes into him, and that's a slower delivery. Is that the googly? Clipped away behind square, just behind square on the leg side, and that's another single added to the total. 72 for 3, the run rate 6.5 and over at the end of the 11th over. Ferreira 14, Masood 31, Ahmed 3 overs, no wickets for 19 runs. And again, this game's still Leicestershire still on top, but and you made this point, I think, at the end of the last over, Richard. These two are probably now settled.
Well, that's 20 off the last sort of 2 overs, and not too many risks taken. They are playing well. Rehan Ahmed 9 wickets in this competition, 12 games last season.
Yeah, they've just built for a few overs here, haven't they? Just to
built sensibly.
There is always time to. Yes, it's a very short game. There is always time to rebuild if you need to. You score so many runs at the end of innings, even in one-day cricket. There's always, if you have wickets in hand, 5-6 overs to go, you can get 60, 70, 80 runs now.
looks like a change. That's Scott Curry with the ball in his hands at the far end. So Curry, who was expensive in his single over to date, went for 18. Looking to drag it back, comes in from the Bennett end, bowls. Again, gorgeously, delicately played by Masood, but not a great stop in the end from Josh Hull. He got there, he slid along the rope, and somehow it sort of got through his hands underneath those huge legs and trickled over the rope. So, well, it should have been just one. Masood picks up 4, but it was again a gorgeously played shot. You have to say that. He moves on to 35, 60, 76 for 3.
He does well to get that so fine, doesn't he? And obviously plays with very soft hands to get it that fine.
Curry is in and bowls. Masood's looking to drive and hits it hard down into the ground. Doesn't time it at all. Better lines from Scott Curry. That first one was just gorgeously played, and there's not much you can do, I guess, about that. I mean, Masood is a class act on his day, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
High quality international batsman.
Is he still T20 captain for Pakistan, or he was?
He was.
He was. I don't know if he is now.
No, you never quite know, do you? In goes Curry and bowls slightly short, cut really perfectly again by Masood. Is beginning to look ominous. He's beginning to play really well. He has been playing really well for a while, actually. Cut that one away into the gap, picks up another 4, and again Scott Curry is going around the park at the moment. It's for me a better over. It's a slightly tighter lines, but still just enough width for.
Shows that it's quite a good pitch, I reckon.
Just really
if you slightly missed width-wise, it looks like you can hit through the ball.
Curry tosses the ball from hand to hand. 9 legitimate deliveries. He's gone for 26. In he goes and bowls. It was the slower ball, but it was slightly short, and waited for it, Masood, and dabbed it down. You can do this. Dabbed it down to third man. Hull this time did field cleanly, and just one taken. Masood 40 now from 28 balls, 81 for 3. He did bowl a brilliant slower ball at Derby.
Yeah, David Lloyd. Marcus Harrison's just kept shouting around in his Aussie accent, "Bowl him the Lloydie."
It was a sort of like Franklin Stevenson slower ball that Lloydie flung himself to the ground, and it went into his stumps. In goes Curry and bowls short, slower ball again though, and Ferreira looking to pull, mistimed it totally, got it on the body, and it bounced out into the offside, no run.
Haven't seen Mulder yet, have we?
We haven't.
No, we haven't. No. That's another thing we've got this year, just to add to what I said earlier. I think there's lots of options with the ball as well. Obviously, Vian's not bowled yet, and there's plenty of overs left from the other guys as well.
I think there's a slight nervousness in Adam's point there that he's fit to bowl. In goes Curry, bowls, again slower ball. Ferreira had to wait for it, tried to sort of work it out into the leg side again, mistimed it horribly, came off the pad, and again Curry's last 3 balls were pretty decent, but he's looking at figures at the moment of 2 overs, none for 27, 82 for 3 off 12, and these two have dragged the run rate up to 6.8.
You just see what target they're aiming for here by how they've analysed the pitch in the first 12 overs. I imagine it would be around 170 to 180, I would have thought. I guess, looking after their start that they had, obviously they're behind the over rate. So
30 off the last 3.
And Ahmed will bowl his final over from the Bennett end. His figures at the moment, 3 overs, none for 19. Not too shabby at all from the England international. He moves away from us now, bowls outside off stump, and Ferreira tries to sort of drive that over the infield and above the infield, but doesn't connect and drags it slightly down the ground. It's fielded by Curry, and there's a single added to the total. Ferreira 15, Yorkshire 83 for 3. Ahmed to the left-handed Masood, who drives pleasantly down the ground towards long off, fielded by Peter Hanscom.
Scored 200 on this ground a couple of years ago, Sean Masood.
Yeah, was that for Derby?
It was for Derbyshire, yeah. Actually, he scored about 3 200s in about 6 games, didn't he?
Ahmed bowls, this one's back of a length and cut away, and I think that's going to go for 4. It is. It finds the gap between cover and long off, and it races away for 4 runs. Nicely placed by Ferreira.
Hit that hard, didn't he, again? They've hit a few balls to to kind of extra cover that have been hit hard.
This is an interesting period of the game, this. Ferreira and Masood have come in, putting together a bit of a partnership. Ahmed is in. Again, this one dragged down, hoisted towards Carrot Corner. It's over the fielder for 6 runs. First 6 of the day. Comes halfway through the 13th over. Just a tiny bit back of a length from Rehan Ahmed. Just wasn't quite the right length. It allowed Ferreira to rock back, which is what he's been trying to do all innings, and whack it over deep mid wicket for 6. Not sure if that was caught by a... Was that caught by a fan down there?
He's won a ticket.
Well, I presume he has. Ahmed bowls again. That's cut, but into the ground by Ferreira this time. I
guarantee it wasn't Stench who caught it. It was his neck of the woods, but I guarantee it wasn't him who caught it.
I might see it on the replay. Ahmed is in. He bowls. Oh, and a slog sweep attempted. Out to deep mid wicket. It's fielded in. Just a single is taken. He didn't connect with that at all. So end of the over. Ahmed finishes with figures of 4 overs, none for 32. That last over somewhat spoiling his figures. 13 off it. 95 for 3 is the score. Masood 41 off 29. Ferreira 26 off 17. This partnership now is 50.
It is.
Could do with a wicket here, couldn't we, just to break their rhythm.
43 of those 50 have come off the last 4 overs. So, well, hoping to get that wicket, Peter Handscomb is going back to Josh Hull, whose first 2 overs were pretty special, 1 for 8 from 2.
This has not surprised me to come back to his strike bowler to try and get that wicket.
If Vian is going to come on and bowl for, he's going to have to come on now, basically. He's not... hope he is fit. We shall see. Hull is going to go over the wicket to the right-handed Ferreira. 26 off 17 as the sun comes out at the Uptonsteel County Ground. Hull is in. Ferreira gets a bounce. It's going to be caught. Top edge, and it loops comfortably to Cox. Up goes Hassan Adnan's figure, and the strike bowler has done it for the Foxes. Lovely bouncer, went for the sort of pull hook. Mistimed it completely. Thick top edge, and it looped. Well, Ben Cox would like catches like that every day of the week.
Yeah, great wicket, and that's great captaincy as well for Pete to realise that he needed a wicket there to get his strike bowler back on to get that wicket. His great captaincy and also great execution from Hully.
Yeah, the bounces he was practicing. Sorry, Adam.
He's the main. I was just going to say he's the main threat, isn't he, in terms of wicket taking? But he just had something a little bit different, bit more pace, bit more bounce. That's lovely stuff.
50 partnership for the 4th wicket for Yorkshire. Leicestershire will be hoping that that wicket just takes a little bit of momentum out of the innings that had been established, but Shahan Masood is still there. He's 41 not out of 29. 95 for 4, the Vikings. Roman Walker comes off with the drinks. That's some tash Roman is sporting at the
tash,
moment.
isn't it?
You've got to say, right up there.
He's very good at commentary as well, isn't he, by the sound of it?
He's very, very good.
He's a very funny man,
it.
a good man.
Says I just love talking about cricket, he said. And not every cricket player does, do they? But Roman does. He's a cricket badger. 95 for 4. Matt Revis has come out ahead of Jordan Thompson. I don't know whether that's a sort of change to the order. In goes Hull and bowls to Revis, who stands tall and just works it off maybe middle and leg. Pushed it out towards mid-on. Scott Curry's out there. Again, very good from Hull. 2 for 9 from 2.2.
Excellent. This is a big wicket. You get Masood here, you're looking at restricting them a lot lower than what they're probably thinking. And Hully's done nothing really. He's just nothing special. He's just hit that top of off stump, which is the plan he's got at the minute. He's executed it perfectly.
He must be loving being on a pitch that's giving him a little bit of bounce, a little bit of pace, because they just haven't been around so far this season. Over the wicket to the left-handed Masood. He bowls outside off stump once again, beautifully guided. Can Ahmed get there? No, he can't. Running up from third man towards wide third man. Thought for a second he was going to get there, but again, Masood rarely through the offside looks as though he's trying to overhit the ball. He uses the pace and he uses placement so sweetly, and he
that boundary looks in quite a lot from this angle. It might just be the way we're looking at it, but it looks...
It is close. By Grace Road standards, by Uptonsteel County Ground standards. It's still a decent,
yeah, but it's very...
I've seen much smaller, that is for sure, on other grounds, but it is much closer than usual for sure. Hull is in, stepping across. Ooh, Masood tries to help it on its way down the leg side, and having stepped across, although the ball is slightly down the leg side, doesn't miss leg stump by much, it is not signalled wide by umpire Adnan. 100 for 4.
That looked fast as well, that, didn't it? The way Coxey took it, keeping, looked like got some pace on the way through.
I think Ben Cox is getting used to keeping here at the Uptonsteel County Ground. Yeah, Durham having a shocking start to the T20 season. Hull is in. Masood down the leg side. It was the slower bouncer, but just slightly misdirected. And Masood, as is his wont, didn't try and hit it, just sort of rather disdainfully ignored the ball.
Yeah, they're 75 for 7, Durham. Look, they was 76 all out last night, weren't they?
Yeah, they didn't look to have too bad a side. I think people like Potts as well as
they look like they've...
Our old friends Ackers and Parkey and Rainey, of course.
Yeah, of course.
3 former Foxes. They've had a pretty good start to the championship season.
Yeah, they have. They've done quite well.
Hull is in, up into the air. Can Hull be a corn bowl? Yes, he can. He has got Sean Masood with the bouncer. Masood went for the pull, top-edged it. Whether it was a slightly slower bouncer again from Josh Hull, but Hull is really having a huge impact on this game. He's picked up 3 massive wickets for the Foxes. 101 for 5.
And I guess, Lewis, this is what you were talking about. That's 5 wickets down to number 7. Dom Best's not a shabby batsman by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, the top heaviness is starting to show.
Well, Revis and Thompson, you'd say, are probably 1 or even 2 spots a little bit too high. And they're not probably used to getting in with 6 overs to go. They're more kind of your hitters at the end. But it's been a fantastic over by Hully, and as I say, it's great captaincy as well to realise you needed those wickets, and he's delivered.
When you're getting wickets like that, what's that, short top edges, 2 top edges?
I still think his bowling, it looks like he's bowling pretty quickly, and to any player to go short to play a pull shot is a tough shot, and what they're executing now.
So he's rushing them.
It looked like that just got to him a little bit too quickly, and his kind of top half of the bat is just looped up. This might be a bouncer, I reckon.
And he comes to bowl to Jordan Thompson, who steps across it. It's slightly short, but it isn't quite a bouncer. It's up on the hip, and Thompson just helps it around the corner down towards long leg and jogs one. Thompson, very much. I always think he looks like a sort of rugby league prop forward, Jordan Thompson. He looks like he's ready to go out there for, the Rhinos or something like that. Determination and squarely built. Matt Revis, a much taller figure and a slimmer figure at the other end. 102 for 5 after 14.
And what an over from Josh Hull. Turned the game on its head just when it looked like things were going Yorkshire's way. At 102 for 5, the Foxes right back on top. Ben Mike will bowl the 15th over of the game. Other scores around the country. Worcestershire currently chasing 170 to win against Lancashire. They're 57 for 1 off 6 overs as Mike runs away from us, beginning the new over. He's in, he bowls, and across the stumps goes Thompson. Moved in a little bit towards him, I think, but it's whipped away on the leg side, square of the wicket, and a single is taken. 103 for 5.
Still no Mulder.
Still no Mulder. Notts.
I think he must have a little bit of a niggle. I think he would have bowled by now if he was going to bowl.
I don't know, to be fair.
No, I'm not asking you, don't worry about it. All we can do is speculate, but I'm pretty sure he would have done by now. But anyway.
Notts 127 for 4 against Northants. Surrey 119 for 5 against Glamorgan. Essex 132 for 3 against Somerset and Kent. This game that started at 7 o'clock, 62 for 1 against Middlesex. Mike bowls, that's on a leg stump line, and back goes Revis and flicks it into the leg side. It's fielded there by Vian Mulder, the aforementioned. And the score moves to 103 for 5. It's actually a pleasant evening now. You can see the rays lashing down on the fans to our right-hand side.
Like, it's nice to see some sun, isn't it? The Champions season has been very hit and miss.
As Mike is in, he bowls, and that's full outside off stump. That's a decent Yorker outside the off stump. Those ones are always difficult to hit. People say, I don't know whether it's too loose. Those are possibly the most difficult ones to hit. Yorker outside off stump.
Well, executed really well, especially when these guys, especially batting down the order, they like to kind of hit to that leg side. That if you nail that, is near impossible to hit for 6.
Mike it is, running away from us. Up to the wicket, bowls. That's a straighter line, but Thompson is moving across his stumps, and this time it's
well
just pushed into the leg side. And as Lewis Hill says, it's well fielded. Stops the 2. It was Louis Kimber, one-handed pick up, and launched in to stop the second run. 105 for 5. Revis 2, Thompson 3. And it is Revis on strike. He surveys the field, looks behind him. There is a fine leg behind square on the leg side. Up comes Mike. He bowls full on the leg stump, and that's clipped in between the deep square leg and deep mid wicket. And this time they do run around for 2. So it will be Revis who moves on to 4. 107 for 5. You're listening to live T20 cricket. BBC Radio Leicester. Adam Whitty, Richard Ray, Lewis Hill with you up in the commentary box.
Again, I think they're almost got to rebuild a little bit here. Like, who have they got to come best? You've kind of got 3 tail enders, to be honest with you. Yeah,
we're off to Don Best, Chauhan Leach and Moriarty. That's a straight delivery driven by Revis and fielded with a combination of both Budinger and Scott Curry. So a single added. Revis moves on to 5. He will keep the strike at the end of the over. Thompson on 3. 108 for 5 the score. 15 overs gone. That run rate just around 7. That's not too shabby at all. Leicestershire still on top in their opening T20.
Yeah, after that sort of burst of scoring in the middle overs, just 13 off the last 2, plus those 2 wickets makes such a difference, a wicket or 2, doesn't it? It just
they're so key, aren't they? Especially in this form. I mean, any format you want wickets, but you take wickets, you slow teams down.
Curry is back, and Revis is driving him out into the offside. It's slightly misfielded by Rehan Mulder, but without any implications, because it is still just the single. Yeah, Jordan Thompson, 50 off 18 balls in the semi-final against Lancashire, so he can take an attack apart on his
last
day.
Year?
Yeah. 22. What year were we in? 24. So the year before, is
2
it?
years.
Yeah.
2 years.
It was all Southern teams in finals day last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
In goes Curry. Third man has come up to the edge of the circle. Curry bowls, driven. It was full by Thompson, but only as far as extra cover. Jordan Thompson in his Who's Who entry says, asked who he'd like to have a chat to on the circuit, says Tom Lammonby. Asked why. He's got quite a good chat for a southerner, he says. For a southerner. I like that. I don't know whether people from Leicestershire count as southern. I suppose they do to Yorkshire folk. Southernish. In goes Curry and bowls. Revis looking to drive, takes his bottom hand off the bat, and it comes off the inside edge. He's misled really completely by Curry, who's not having too much luck out there as he looks to drag back his figures. He goes for a single. 111 for 5, 15.3 overs halfway through. Big field change because of course we've got right hand left hand combination. Thompson the left hander waits, bobs at the knees. Curry is in again, a slower ball, slightly short of a length, looking to chop it away through the offside, mistimed by Thompson because it is the slower ball.
They're both very nice to Thompson here because they know his kind of hitting areas, kind of long on to kind of round to deep mid wicket. So obviously look like they're going a bit wider to him and varying their pace, which is working nicely at the minute.
So at the bowling unit, maybe with the captain, we'll go through the batters, you know, beforehand. They'll know the hitting areas. In goes Curry and bowls to Revis, full and jammed out by Revis. Thompson is sent back quickly into his ground as Mulder's quickly onto the ball.
Another thing they spoke about as well, I think in past season we've kind of looked at what their weakness is and not what our strengths are. And I think this year it's kind of what is your strength to execute the best ball possible, and that's the way they're going a bit more this year.
Just 4 off the over.
Good so far.
With 1 ball to go.
Matthew Revis from Steeton waits as in goes Curry. Bowls to him. All he can do is force a straight ball back to him, and that is a much, much better over, as Hilly says. No boundaries conceded in it. 31 off 3 for Curry, 112 for 5, so just the 4 runs from the over.
And the last 2 overs, no boundaries either. 2, 4, 6, 10 off the last 2.
So they got 24. Well, they got 24 balls effectively here, haven't they? I think 24 balls. If you're looking at under 150, 160, I think we'd be really happy with that.
Mike, hopefully it is to bowl the 17th over. It's a full toss, possibly a slower full toss. Thompson looked like he had to wait for it slightly, and plays it down the ground on the leg side. A single added to the total. 113 for 5 is the score. Footlights on. It's a nice evening in Leicester, as the Foxes all in green. Against, what did you describe it as earlier? Bubblegum. What was it? It's not bubblegum blue, is it?
Powder blue.
Powder blue,
but
yeah.
It really sort of a Cambridge blue, isn't it? Which is part of the Yorkshire colours, in fairness.
As Mike is in, that's hit high down the ground, but this could be caught by Curry at long off, and it is. Taken at hip height, the 6th wicket falls. And that's a big one. Those two were slightly stuttering, but that really is. Leicestershire now into the tail, with Best still able to hold a bat, but the wickets tumbling, the run rate slowing, and the Foxes ending this innings brilliantly.
Yeah, we've done really well here, haven't we? We've done really well. After that little partnership between Ferreira and Masood, we've brought it back really well. 3 wickets were probably 15 runs at a guess. 10, 15 runs is great execution.
102 for 4 to 113 for 6.
Yeah.
Sorry, 102 for 102 for 4. Yeah. That's 7 down.
113 for 6 is the score.
Is it? I mean, are we slightly misreading the pitch, Hilly? Is it perhaps not quite as hard and quick as? Is it not quite coming on? There's been a.
It looks like it's come through pretty nice for the seam bowlers. Well, as I say, you have to wait and see it. To me, from here, I've not seen the pitch. To be honest with you, it looks a pretty decent pitch here.
Mike, quick bustling run up. He's past the umpire. He bowls back of a length, clipped towards short third man, where it's fielded by Rehan Ahmed. It's more of a backward point actually where he is, and tumbles. No hat for Rehan Ahmed.
I tend to trust Andy when he says he thinks it's 180 par wicket.
Yeah, it looks a good wicket from here. As I said, I've not seen it up close, but looking at it when we were playing the Champa game last week, it looked a belter.
I just realised the Leicestershire players are running around. They're running out of time as Mike comes in outside the off stump and is missed by Bess. Went for a waft outside the off stump. They've got 10 minutes to finish the
before the last over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should be okay.
Yeah, just about.
Don Bess has joined Ben Cox in Brunty's Bad Hair 11, I have to say. It's a very successful fantasy 11 that does very well.
Ben Mike runs away from us. He's up to the wicket now. He bowls. That's on the pads and guided away down behind square. Bess off the mark. 114 for 6. Who else is in the Bad Hair 11? I'm not in a position to judge at all.
Who's the former keeper at Sussex with the mullet? I've forgotten his name.
Oh, Carter.
Yeah, Ollie Carter.
Mullet's all the rage now.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Who else has got one?
I think, yeah.
A few Aussies probably have got them.
If you go out, our producer at the moment, Trent back at base, has got a mullet.
Oh no, surely not.
Mike, with 1 ball left in the over. It's been pretty tight so far. Straight delivery again. Thompson is coming across the stumps. They're going to aim for 2. Mike's having to field us of his own bowling. It was, well, I think slightly mistimed, but to the point that it benefited Thompson because he was able to run 2. So 116 for 6 at the end of the over. Just 4 off it. So, what, in the past 4 overs, there have been 21. Is that right? 21 off the past 4 overs. So, just over 5 and over. That run rate under 7. And Mike's figures 2 for 13 off 3. It's really tightened up,
hasn't he? We've got 3 overs to go. We've got 1 off Scott, 1 off Hull and then one off either Mike or Holland, I imagine.
So Scott Curry to bowl. It's been one of the 3 for 31, one of the more expensive bowlers
His last
today.
over was a really good one. In he goes and bowls, helped down and caught, brilliantly caught to his right by Josh Hull, diving across to his right, stepped across there. Dom Best tried to help it on its way down the leg side. He did help it on its way down the leg side. In a sort of short, fine leg was Josh Hull, and that extra height that Hull has made all the difference as he flung himself to his right, took a two-handed catch to his right and turned to the crowd to celebrate.
That's an always shot he was going for as well. That's his kind of go-to shot when fine legs up. So again, that's a fantastic catch from Hulley.
Well, they've been trying to tempt him into it, do you think, because he likes that shot?
Potentially, yeah. He was in for 2 balls, wasn't he? So it was a high-risk shot.
Oh, crikey, yeah, that is quite a hairstyle that he's got. He's removed his helmet, has Dom Bess.
So Jordan Thompson is beginning to run out of partners here. Jaffa Chauhan has come out to join him in bright orange boots. Anything goes.
I think he's the danger here now, isn't he, Thompson?
Yeah.
He's get him, and you've got Leach and Moriarty that are kind of, well, our tail ends really.
Chauhan waits as Curry is in, bowls to him. He works him out off the back foot out towards mid wicket. I think they're only ever going to take one there. Sprinting in.
Interesting how Thompson plays this as well. He's probably got to wait another 10 balls before he tries to go bang bang, I think, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I didn't. As I've just been saying, don't want to run out of partners, but in goes Curry, bowls to him down the leg side. There's an appeal for a leg before. It was going down the leg side clearly, but it did clip the pad. Good stop by Ben Cox diving to his right. I do like umpire Adnan because he's one of those umpires who, when an appeal is turned down, he tells you why. There's a signal.
Yeah.
I don't think he does it deliberately, but he points to the leg side or he points high or whatever, and it's so helpful if you're commentating.
That's close, that is.
Pitch, not a pitch
I
outside
think it
leg.
probably pitched outside leg, but...
In goes Curry, bowls a slow, banged in bouncer, pulled by Thompson out to deep mid wicket. Mulder is the fielder, just one is taken. 118 now for 7. The manual scoreboard.
It's going back on replay, I reckon.
Have another look at that way. Yep.
Yeah, outside leg, yeah. Take it there, just get given out, didn't you?
Oh, yes, but one has
very
to
annoyed if you're
acknowledge
back.
the truth of the matter. In goes Curry, bowls a slow, full delivery. Chan waits for it, dabs it out towards point. Sol Budinger is the fielder, just one is taken. Good so far from Curry. After his first 2 overs, went for plenty. His second 2 so far have been excellent.
I think Thompson's going to target the 19th over because he's got this boundary here, which is kind of his hitting zone. It looks a little bit in. So imagine he'll try and knock this for 1 and then go for the next over.
Curry is in and Thompson does exactly that. Anyone would think you played this game?
Yeah, I know. Most of it's luck, to be fair, but...
And so the area you're describing is what, the sort of cow corner
I
area?
I think to kind of try and get up to a target that they want to get to, I think he has to try and risk go for this kind of cow corner area that the boundary's in a little bit. So I think he'll try and target this over.
Yeah, just to describe it, the pitch is a little bit further along the score, 120 for 7. It's to the right, sort of where of the main central pitches, so the boundary's been dragged in front of the, if you know Grace Road, the manual scoreboard. Mike to bowl the penultimate over, 2 for 13 his figures. It's a full toss and a slower one, and it's hoiked away on that leg side, just to that area you're describing, Lewis, and he moves on to 11, just gets the single, but it's very difficult.
Ball, actually.
Yeah, it's very difficult to score.
Ball, yeah.
Very difficult to score a boundary off that. It's always going to hit the bottom of the bat, isn't it? So
yeah, the Yorker's still hardest ball to hit, isn't it? If you hit it exactly where you want it.
Curry's last 2 overs just went for 8.
Yeah, he's brought that back lovely,
so he
hasn't
really did drag his figures back there.
Chauhan, 2 not out. Yorkshire 121 for 7. Mike is in, bowls, that's hit high up in the air towards deep mid-wicket. Is it going to be caught? No, it's just going to land metres, a couple of metres in front of the 2 on-rushing fielders from deep mid-wicket and deep square leg. And so Chauhan survives and only gets a single. That was not the best shot in the world.
That looked like it was going straight down his throat, didn't it? They kind of just, obviously, toe end of the bat, and so this is a big couple of balls here, I reckon.
So on that leg side, 3 men out, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg. Mike, there is, it's hyped over towards that boundary, and it's going to evade the fielders, go for 6. It's better placed more than anything, a little bit squarer than cow corner, and found the boundary. It was away from the fielders, I think it would have been over them anyway, but that's a big hit from Thompson.
Didn't seem to get that either, did he?
No.
Hand came off the bat and... Oh no, it didn't, sorry.
But you're right, it didn't really look like he'd overly connected, but I think it was just on a half volley length. He threw his shoulders at it too. And with bats these days, it's going to fly. 128 for 7. 3 balls left in the penultimate over. Mike up to the wicket. Thompson across his stumps. That's hit high up in the air. That's 6 more. Fine. Behind square on the leg side.
Right on the windscreen, on the bounce.
That hit somebody's windscreen, did it? Oh dear.
On the bounce, so it'll be okay.
Oh, you wouldn't be saying that if it was your car, would you? But yeah, the ball going right towards the car park round the back. It didn't go over the indoor school. Found the gap in between the hospitality pavilion and there's a helicopter goes above us. Found the gap there.
You just see where Ben tries to bowl this next ball. To be fair, if he goes same area, he tries to go wide into that wide Yorker channel or slur ball. Potentially, I think there is options: slur ball or wide.
Those full ones, the low full tosses are so hard to get away, to get underneath.
Back-to-back 6s. In comes Mike. What's his response? It is full. Very good Yorker. Outside off stump. Crowd responding to that well. Brilliant ball from Ben Mike on a dot. 1 ball left in the over. His figures are still good considering he's been hit for back-to-back 6s in this over. 3.5 overs, 2 for 27.
Get me interested to see what Thompson does here.
Push one.
Probably take a 1 and try and go. So it'd be nice to, when he started defensive, to hit this Yorker.
Ben Mike away from us, up to the wicket, bowl straight, and that's clipped down the ground. He gets the single. Close to LBW is what Lewis is saying. Just whipped round the corner, nice flick of the wrist. End of the over, a pretty expensive one, but the first expensive one in a while, which considering we are at the death is not too shabby. How many off that over and then? 15 off it, 135 for 7, Chauhan 3, Thompson 24, and Mike's figures, 4 overs, 2 for 28.
You pretty much take that, I think, on a good track, but he'll be disappointed about those 2 6s. But you know, he's made an impact. 2 really good wickets, really good caught and bowled early on.
Anything under 150 happy with?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So Josh Holt gets the well, I was going to say doubtful privilege of bowling the last over, but you can always pick up wickets in it.
Yeah, interested to see again, to see where. I imagine he'll just go hard length here and as fast as he can.
In he comes to Thompson from the Bennett end. Bowles looking for the Yorker. It's a no ball that it thumped into the pad. Was it a high no ball? What's this? No, it's a leg by. He walked out, umpire, I beg your pardon for misleading you there. Umpire Adnan walked out with his right hand extended and then lifted his right knee to it. That's not foul. I was complimenting on his signals, but he let me down there. I misread it badly. So leg bite. I thought it wasn't that high, was it? It was a full toss, but only into the pad. And Thompson took 2 leg buys, ran well. Now, what's he pointing at?
Going to go wide Yorkers here. I'm looking at the field placing, I would imagine. Trying to stay out his arc.
Almost backward point on the boundary and a conventional cover sweeping out there. Hull is in, bowls and swung by Thompson off the stumps, really low one, and he thumps his pads in annoyance because all he could do was get it out too long on, and that's a win for Hull and for the Foxes, a single, and it gets Chauhan back down on strike. Thompson wanders down to have a word with him. 138 for 7, 4 balls left. in the Vikings innings. What field will Hull have? Well, the two men staying out who were on the offside, now of course on the leg side for the right-hander.
We get a short ball here potentially.
Looking for a
I'd
fourth
imagine.
wicket, Josh Hull. In he comes. Chowan backs away, hits it high over long on for a huge 6 into the hospitality marquee. What a huge blow. He was in the slot rather. He tried to follow Jaffa Chauhan, but as I say, the length wasn't quite right. And a beautiful pickup from Chauhan, in fairness, and onto the hospitality marquee it went. So a late flurry of runs from the Vikings might just give them a little bit of momentum going into the halfway break. Can the Foxes keep it below 150? 144 for 7, 3 balls to go. Hanscom, who's up on the edge of the circle at mid-on, there isn't a long on still, as Hull is in again to Chauhan. Down the leg side, it's going to be 4 more. Just helped round the corner. I think he got something on that. Yes, he did. It was a short ball into the body, but it was just to leg side. And Chauhan helped it around the corner. Cox couldn't get there. 10 off 2 balls. 148 for 7.
Was that off glove, that down the leg side, I imagine?
He's got something on it, didn't he? No question. Yeah.
Yeah, glove. Got the replay in front of us, slightly delayed.
Again, a long conversation. Hanscom, Hull. Scott Curry has something to say as well. Ooh. Tomato ketchup covered chips come up onto the balcony alongside us. Bad for you. Our bodies are temples, aren't they, chaps? We would never have anything like that. Hull is in, bowls again. Chauhan backs away, hit up into the air, should be caught. No, he's going to land just short of the in-rushing Ben Mike, who flings himself off his feet trying to get it back to Ben Cox in time to prevent a second. He can't. Chauhan picks up 2. He's done a good job for his side with these deliveries, and he brings up the Vikings 150 off the penultimate delivery. That could have been Josh Hull's 4th wicket. And
Is his
I would
best
imagine,
figures in
I will have to check that, but I would imagine they will be. Anyway, perhaps. In he comes. Can he make sure of that? Bowls to Chauhan, outside off stump. Chauhan had backed away. The throw misses. Can it? Hull doesn't bother. They acknowledge the bye. The bye is taken. Well, Cox threw the ball at the stumps. Had it hit, Thompson would have been run out. It didn't hit, so the Vikings finish 151 for 7. And despite that late flurry of runs, 16 runs off that final over, Lewis Hill, I think if they'd been offered this beforehand, the Foxes might well have taken it.
Yeah, I think so. Like we had a very good start and had that little partnership in the middle and then the finish with a little bit of a flurry there. But if it gave us 150 at the start of the innings, I think we'd have took that.
You're listening to BBC Radio Leicester Sport live from Grace Road. It's Leicestershire in the T20 blast against Yorkshire. And well, Richard Ray, positive. You assessed it as what, a 180 pitch, or somebody that you spoke to assessed it as a 180 pitch?
The groundsman who tends to know these things, very experienced groundsman, reckoned it's a good pitch, reckoned it's a 180 pitch, and the way it played early on certainly looked that way. There was nice carry, there was nice bounce, shortish boundaries, and I still think the Foxes will be really happy with that. Josh Hull made such a good start early on. Ben Mike likewise. Vian Mulder didn't bowl. We can only assume he had a slight issue, but either way, Scott Curry, who went for a lot early on, managed to drag it back. Nobody really, therefore, sort of really went around the park too much, and I think they will fancy their chances of getting these runs.
You mentioned Scott Curry there. How much credit does he deserve for the way he turned his figures around? Because as you say, it was a difficult first over for him, but in the end, a decent job. Yeah,
difficult first 2 overs, but I mean, we're starting to get to know Scott a little bit. You know, obviously Hilly will know him an awful lot better than I, but comes across as a ferociously determined young man, and not much phases him either, really. And as I say, he seems to learn with each game that goes past, and he learnt from those first 2 overs.
Yeah, he's a very confident lad as well, and he if something doesn't go right for him, as we've said in these 2 overs, the next 2 overs he gets back on it, and as it showed there, it's finished off really nicely. Pretty
typical of the character you've come to know.
Yeah, very tough guy, tough character, determined. You can tell by the way he plays his cricket, and he's come back last 2 overs. I think gone for 8 runs, hasn't it? And that's a nice return from the first 2 overs.
And they are Josh Hull's best T20 figures previously. He did have a 3 for previously, but 3 for rather more. 3 for 28 is a pretty good effort against Yorkshire.
Yeah. Talk a bit more about him, Richard. Just how good has he bowled so far?
Well, he bowled beautifully, really, Josh Hull. That delivery that saw the end of Milan was an absolute cracker. Just little bit of swing, fast, perfect length, top of off stump. No fast bowler, want us for more than that ever, really. Plus, he sort of didn't rough them up as much, but they struggled to handle his bounce, and he got a couple of top edges. And again, he's a huge prospect for Leicestershire, going forward, and I'm sure he'll be a big part in this competition, in the one-day competition, and hopefully as we go on in the championship as well.
Lewis, how excited are you by his potential?
Yeah, the ceiling's very, very high. You mentioned about similar to Stuart Broad, people have mentioned that, and as long as he doesn't go to knots and follow that bit of thing, but he looks like a terrific kind of prospect, and you've shown today that he's bowled fast and he's swung the ball up top and he's bowled beautifully.
Richard, you mentioned the wicket of Milan there coming nice and early. How much of a boost was that, not actually just for Josh Hull, but actually the team as a whole, given we spoke before the game about how important a positive start would be after last year and how tough it was? How much of a boost did it feel like a sense of relief a little bit around the ground?
To the extent that Yorkshire, as we've discussed, are top heavy, then any early wickets were going to be good news. But I mean, they're top heavy because they've got such high quality at the top, essentially. I mean, Milan is an international batsman of huge and justified reputation, and he can take an attack apart. All their top 4 could. So to get him early, it was huge, and it lifted everybody. But as I said at the time, the Foxes looked on it from the start. Really, they fielded pretty well. Don't think a genuine catch went down. You could say, well, maybe Vian might have plucked that one out of thin air, really, but that was asking an awful lot. And they caught everything. They saved a lot of runs in the outfield, and I think that was a pretty decent all-round effort.
What will be being said in there, do you think, Lewis?
Just the same as the bowling side, kind of back your shots, back. If you see a bowler that you think you can target, go and do it, but hit it in your areas, and the guys, and they've got the coaches and the skippers backing. If it's in their hit in their zone, then go and take the game on.
It felt like, Richard already talked about the early dismissal of Milan, but you look at Ulythe and Root clearly didn't come in and do much. It felt, often you look at T20 and you can have all the game plan in the world, but if one batter comes and has a great innings and you can't get him, then it feels like the game can get away from them. It looked like potentially that might happen with Masood. Did his wicket in particular feel like the most perfectly timed?
Yeah, the 2 wickets from Hully, Ferreira and Masood changed their innings completely, because they were probably looking at 180 possibly with those 2 in, and kind of building towards the back end of the innings where Revis and Thompson can get that hitting power, but those 2 wickets kind of killed their momentum. They had to take a few more overs to go again, and they finished off okay, but as Richard said, if you gave 150 at the start of the innings, we'd have took that. And
it felt like a real slowdown of their run rate at that point, Richard.
Yeah, it was an important time to get that wicket. Just looking through the figures, Louis Kimber just conceded 9 from his first over. That 9 came off the first 3 balls. Everybody was sort of swallowed.
Yeah,
was also checking the attack, particularly in the early over. Just as a captain, the thought process behind that, and why you would go for that.
Well, you don't want to get too with the bowlers. Bowling with bowl, 2 people get started what they're doing, what kind of duty. So have the chance it does that. I'm saying you could get people.
That
was for such a 5th part of the start of the game. We still assess that pitch first few over, but the guy being confident and forward to the.
Elsewhere in the T20 Blast this evening, Worcestershire against Lancashire started a bit earlier on than the others. Worcestershire currently a total of 170 on 120, 44 runs to win 45 training. All after 101 Birmingham start in a 3-0 loss. Head has been 152 to not score 154. Uptonsteel they'll have to get 155. 90 for 6, netting in Kevin Mitchell, Surely 105 for 4 was Ray Cooper, and Witty Bolcher, the single tune, the head was defeated by 2 nets for 1. Just getting up tonight, but in Nash tomorrow evening, looking you there in a form in Super League, it's been eating on the touch. Sorry, I haven't clocked that they come back out and strip out these to this.
153 to win. With a leap on here comes up and swept for 6. What a hit from Rishi Patel first up. Out to deep square leg. Fantastic crowd catch too. What a way to start the innings. 6 for no loss. Patel with a big heave. It was too full from Bess and whacked away in mighty fine fashion by Patel.
It's been super Nick in recent matches. It's been a simple season in the county championship, to be honest. His initial scores didn't reflect that. They've begun to, though.
Bess up to the wicket, spin bowler, and Patel calmer this time. Back he goes and clips it into the leg side. So the target 153. So to win 150. The scoreboard's wrong. I was presuming the scoreboard was going to tell me my maths is terrible.
Take 7 off 150.
Yeah. So that would be 145. There we go. That took far too long.
Welcome to my world.
Bess comes in bowls, clipped away by Budinger this time, out into the leg side. Just to highlight the strength of the British school system, I got a B in GCSE maths. I couldn't even do 152 minus 7 there. 8 for no loss is the score. Well, actually has an update. That's why I was struggling. So Bess fourth the over. As Lewis Hill rejoins us, tossed up, a little bit slow. I think he dragged his pace back there, Bess, and Patel timed that beautifully. Should I preempt and potentially ruin the whole thing for everybody? The pitch seems to be coming on very nicely, and Rishi Patel is timing it very nicely indeed, as was Budinger there.
Hard ball, we'll see.
Don Bess, final ball of the over. Back goes Budinger, and it doesn't get anything on that inside edge into the ground. So end of the over. Very good start for Leicestershire. 9 for no loss. They need 143 to win. They have 19 overs to get it. And we have blue skies above us. It's obviously faint sunlight to our right-hand side. But what is a very sizable crowd in here at Grace Road. They are enjoying themselves as the Foxes start in perfect fashion.
In exactly the same fashion. In fact, 9 without loss after 1. Yorkshire, 9 without loss after 1. Leicestershire. Patel, 8 off 4, but that was a beautifully picked up 6 into the popular seats. Rishi Patel, Leicestershire's top scorer in this competition last season with 390 runs at 28 more or less. In goes Leach and bowls. Dan Moriarty, Ilder there, former Surrey man, of course. 2 for 10 off 3 yesterday against Worcestershire. Coming down the slope from the Bennett end. The shadows from the floodlights and the sun extending right across the pitch as Leach is in. Patel goes for the big booming drive through the offside, almost off the back foot. No, I think, and a score. Crowd enjoying this at the moment.
Well, it is good that every game's Friday, Sunday here at Grace Road, isn't it? Over the weekend. There are some games where they're playing away in the middle of the week, but that will draw the crowd.
Is every game here at a Friday or a Saturday?
Leach is in. That's a decent shout for leg before. Did it hit him just outside the line? Umpire Adnan gives a leg by the net outside the line. But close.
Only maybe 2. Yeah, every game at Grace Road.
It was close.
Every game Friday and Sunday at the Uptonsteel County Ground, which is great because I've always thought it's very difficult, particularly when the weather's not fantastic. Let's say it's dry but cloudy. To get people down on a Tuesday night is difficult.
Yeah, it's like the Championship is now starts on a Friday. The first set of games, it gives people to come, hopefully half a day Friday, and then you get the full weekend to watch the Championship cricket.
Leach, 23-year-old from, well, I suppose strictly speaking, Teesside, Middlesbrough. Used to be Yorkshire. Still should be. comes in to bowl to Sol Budinger for the first time. Budinger swings him straight back over his head for
shot.
4. Put up his right hand, Leach. Get early on, and the openers have done pretty well by and large. So, the first opportunity of the season.
He was really close to playing that.
He
was really
game
close.
at Yorkshire,
It was a tough,
he must have been
choice,
very, very close. Leach is in, bowls again to him,
Yes,
smacks him over mid-wicket for a 2 bounce 4. This is, it's coming on nicely as far as Budinger is concerned. He was very effective in the One Day Cup. Remember that fine century scored at Kibworth, wasn't it?
Sure was, yeah. It was a great shot, isn't it? Slightly short, and his hit it over mid-wicket. Lovely shot. He's got a lot of talent, so...
Rishi Patel was still clapping that.
Massive amount of talent.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Last T20 he started really badly, didn't he? He didn't get many runs, so he was dropped, but then he really found his feet in that One Day Cup campaign.
Yeah,
he waits as Leach is in, bowls to him, he goes back and clips it, but just straight down to fine leg. Adam Lyth picks up, hurls at the stumps, but misses, and Rishi Patel had made his ground anyway. Yeah, just played the 4 times, didn't he? 35 runs with a best of 17, and after 2.
Yeah, it's base part of 400 runs in that One Day Cup campaign, including that century at Kibworth, which was fantastic. Won the game. Was it Essex, I think, to win the game there?
Yeah, I think we're there this year again. We go to Kibworth against Surrey.
Surrey coming.
Surrey, yeah.
That was a great day. I remember being down at Kibworth.
Day, yeah.
That was a really fun day down there. 1 century, 2 50s. So Leicestershire 19 for no loss. They're chasing down 152, so they need 133 to win off 18 overs. Their run rate 9.5. He's got a bat. Got a pink handle on it.
Rover's Tashian. Black.
You got to say that is magnificent.
It is very, very 70s, isn't it? That.
It's
New bowler is Daniel Moriarty, 4 for 25 last night from his 4 overs as Yorkshire hammered Worcestershire to start off with a win. He's up to the wicket, he bowls. Oh, and a leading edge fly on 2 points.
Did you get 4 for yesterday? 4 for, yeah.
4 for 25.
Bowls very chest on. He's up to the wicket now, left armour. Oh, and it's the toe end of the bat. Budinger went for a big swinging sweep there at the bottom of his bat and dribbles back to Moriarty. 19 for no loss, 133 to win. It's brown-haired Moriarty's up to the wicket, bowls, back goes Budinger. That's a decent length for Moriarty, and can't do much with that, but there is a gap on the infield.
Well played that from Sol to the first 2 balls to try and go big and then not. It's very easy to kind of try and go again and get out, but he took the sensible option there of just getting off strike.
Up comes Moriarty again, the 2 men out, deep mid-wicket. And Budinger moves right across. Sorry, Patel moves away from his stumps to try and make room to hit it over the top of the infield, but doesn't get anything on that because Moriarty followed him, hit his pads and no run.
I'm surprised he's not stepped across here and kind of with the height he's going to be bowling, try and sweep it over a square leg.
Here comes Moriarty. There's the sweep and there's 6.
There you go.
It was just the perfect length for the sweep, and Patel, I'm not sure he was planning to play that shot. He got down quite late, but he had the time to whip it away. Great heave square of the wicket on the leg side. 6 runs, a second 6 for Patel. He moves on to 14. The Foxes 26 for no loss. They require 126 to win. And again already, this looks like a much better pitch than Yorkshire made it look. Moriarty up to the wicket, bowls. Down the pitch comes Patel. Down the ground, there's a fielder out there though. Masood doesn't get to it, a one-handed effort. 6 more from Patel. He moves on to 20. The Foxes flying in their pursuit. Great shot from Patel. Great over from the Foxes. What was it, 13 off it in the end? Possibly even more than that.
Yeah, 13. 13. Single.
13 off it. So they're going at over, nearly 11 and over, 32 for no loss, 120 to win. They're 32 for no loss, are Leicestershire.
Great shots by Rishi there as well. He's kind of steps across and swept that one, and then he's come down the wicket, knowing he'd probably go a little bit fuller to try, and if he's going to sweep it again, he's down the wicket and hit it really straight and really nice shot. Lovely start. 32 for none is a fantastic start after 3 overs.
After 3 overs, Yorkshire 11 for 1. Leach to continue from the Bennett end. Goes in to Budinger, who pulls him down for 6 more. High and, well, pretty fast. Because travelling. A 4th maximum. Beautifully picked by Budinger. He does like coming onto the bat rather more than the spin. But when it does, and he's in form and in touch, he doesn't half hit the ball cleanly.
That's his area as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's his area to a T.
It's Thompson, I beg your pardon, not Leach. Continuing. Thompson is in, bowls, backs away, pulls for 4 more. Yes. Budinger. Thompson stands, hands on hips, legs akimbo. Not wearing the old sweatband this season, Jordan Thompson, but not making any difference. Foxes, as Adam said, very much off to a flyer. 42 off the point. Putting this Yorkshire innings in context, are they showing that the pitch is, in fact, pretty decent? Thompson.
There is forgetting the fact that we bowled really nicely as well.
Early up front. Thompson is in, bowls a slower ball, waits for it. Budinger looks to just tuck it into the leg side. Rather disdainfully, actually. He didn't look very interested in that one, Sol Budinger. It just came off the pad, and Jordan Thompson hurried on down to make sure no leg byes were added to the score.
We've had as many sixes Leicestershire as Yorkshire did in their entire innings. In what, 3.1 overs?
21 balls.
The 2 men out are at mid-wicket and backward square. It isn't a particularly short boundary, but all the boundaries are a little bit shorter. Thompson is in, bowls the slower ball. It's a full toss that is wiped for 1 bounce out too long gone. It will be a no ball. This time the right hand is extended by umpire Adnan for that no ball reason. So 2 plus 6 plus another delivery. 47 without loss.
Just shows you if you put the bowlers under pressure, like they go things. Look at Josh Holland's first 2 overs. All he did was swing that ball at pace and hit the top of off stump, and there's probably no comparison why we got the wickets at the start, and they've looked for something here with Thompson going the slow ball.
Free hit. Where can Budinger hit this one, or try to hit it? In goes Thompson, bowls to him, he steps across, smashes it, 4, will it go? No, it won't. It dropped a little bit short in the end, hit it out towards the electronic scoreboard. Didn't quite got it all, clothed it slightly, but nonetheless picks up a couple and brings up the Leicestershire 50 in just 4 over.
These guys had a lovely partnership in that one-day cup last year, and I'm glad it's been reunited in this T20 comp, and Sol's the kind of guy that he needs backing, and it's great to see him start really well and opening the innings in this T20 campaign.
He does come across as a very confident man. I'm not entirely sure he is, but in he goes. Short, pulled, 4 more, 6 more.
Lovely.
Wow, banged it in short, Thompson. Budinger was advancing down the wicket. He saw him coming, banged it in short, but it sat up really nicely, and Budinger, with his eye and his timing, just swung it away, and it cleared the boundary actually by quite a long way in the end. Now what's going on down there? Don Bess is asking for it. The stewards had to go back onto the road. Just really hitting all parts. 56 without loss. Budinger 33 off 14.
24 off the over already, and Thompson, I don't know if you saw his body language afterwards, looked incredibly disconsolate. He's been whacked to all corners of the ground.
And there's very little that they can do about this, Masood, because only 2 men allowed out. Thompson is in, hit up into the air, and for another 6 into the crowd at the Bennett end by Budinger. Well, we can definitely say now the pitch is as we thought it was. How well bowled on it, because they have charged our 4 overs onto 61 without loss. How many off that? 29 off the over.
So 90 to
62,
win.
30 off the over.
Yeah, 30 off the over. And to put it in context, we're only in the 4th over. Leicestershire need less than a run of ball, which is absolutely
it's a great start. And we talk about people hitting to their areas, and Sol's just prove that's the way you go. It's a great start by these 2.
Budinger 39 off 15, Patel 20 off 10, 90 to win to chase down 152. A run rate's at 15.5. Revis will bowl his first over from the Bennett end. Fairhead, he's up to the wicket, he bowls, and Patel just plays this nicely. Driven down towards Masood at mid-on. There is no run.
They have got quite a long way to go to get to the record opening partnership. Leicester against by Headingley in 2004.
Wow.
That must have been a special day.
Here comes Revis away from us, past the umpire. He bowls short, pulled, and that's going to be 4 runs. Lovely shot. The ball just seems to be sitting up. As soon as you bang it in short, it's sitting up for the batsman to just whip it away. And these two are finding things pretty easy at the moment. 4 more added to the total, 66 for no loss.
Can we keep this for a wicket for a couple of the championships?
And the crowd have found their voice too. Fox is having a party right now. Revis up to the wicket, bowls. That's a better length, and you could probably hear on our effects microphone that didn't sound quite right, did it?
Was that
very
a slower
woody.
ball, or was that just not? Just seemed like it didn't come on quite as much.
I have a feeling it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, it looked
Slightly mistimed, didn't it?
So Patel 24 not out, 86 for no loss. We've seen some great hitting so far. 3 sixes from both of the batters in at the moment, the opening pair. Revis away from us, bowls, driven down the ground and beats the infielders. 4 runs down the ground. Leicestershire romp to 70. That was a gorgeous shot, more of an orthodox drive down the ground, but plenty of power, plenty of timing on it.
It's a great shot, isn't it? It's just gone like a tracer bullet as well, and it's just a fantastic start. 70 for none off 4.4 overs is getting us well on the way.
82 to win, off 15.2 overs. Revis. Patel waiting, bat high. Patel is in, and he sliced that. He's going to get away with it. He's just going to get a single for it. It was edged behind square on the offside, and runs down to what is that? Sort of a. Oh, it's a very wide third man, maybe more of a deep backward point actually. Race around 71 for no loss, 81 to win, to chase down 152 to get this T20 campaign off to a brilliant start. Wonder what it is, whether it's just the pitches, the conditions have improved. The sun's come out, I suppose, since Leicestershire have started batting. Here comes Revis, bowls. Oh, that's a brilliant shot, brilliantly timed from Budinger. Off the back foot, crunch to cover, but there is no run. So 71 for no loss is the score. 9 runs off it, just the 9 off it. Pretty low scoring over for Leicestershire, that one. Patel 29, Budinger 39. It would be Patel to keep the strike. Leicestershire need 81 to win. They've got 15 overs to do it, so they only need to go at 5.5 and over. And they will coast to an opening round victory.
I think that said, the way these two play, I mean, Budinger won't change the way he plays, really. I don't think, and I'm not sure he should, really. They've still got 1 over to try and exploit in this power play, but we did sort of predict this could happen.
Yeah.
They're very, very fine players, these boys. In goes Best. Bowls, swing, miss, came off the pad.
His role, it's good to clarity, and coming back to that one, they kept success, and it looks like this team has a similar feel to it, watching from the sidelines.
This is going to go around the wicket to the left-hander. Bowls, hits hard and straight for 4, just short of the long on boundary. Just freed his shoulders and hit so cleanly. We don't want to see this happen from Leicestershire's point of view, but there are also going to be slots going in the 100, you know, later this year, and these boys are putting themselves. People can put themselves sort of in the spotlight here. In goes Best, bowls. Budinger swings slightly across the line, a little bit clothed it out towards deep mid wicket. Takes 1. As I say, we don't want to see them go, but you know, a few good performances in the white ball for your county can lead to great rewards.
Yeah, it can do
these days. In goes Best, bowls to Patel, who goes back and orthodox, just works it. Very neat piece of timing. Still runs very quickly out to deep mid wicket. Takes 1 and moves on to 30.
Yeah, it looks a good pitch, doesn't it? Just from the first 6 overs, and I think back to our bowling, I think we really looked like we executed our skills really well.
Best into Budinger, who again rather pulls it out to deep mid wicket, takes 1. Budinger on to 45, 79 without loss. 1 ball to go in the power play. I think Leicester would have taken 80 for none, or whatever it ends up at. Bess That shock of white hair is in. Hit up into the air. Could be caught. Rishi Patel's turning to walk off. Masood takes the catch. Hit up to, well, mid-on really, on the edge of the circle. So they did lose a wicket in the power play. Rishi Patel looking to make the most of it, looking to hit straight, looking for one last six. Rather hit it straight up into the air and a comfortable catch for Masood. So Foxes hoping that isn't a turning point, and a little bit of hope for Yorkshire, but very much the Foxes power play, 79 for 1 at the end of it.
Well, what they can do, I mean, the run rate's 5.2 and over. They've got 73 to win. They're over halfway there, and they're only just a quarter of the way through the innings.
Well, the strength is in the batting still, so there's so much to come.
It's a great start, isn't it? You'd hope that we'd be favourites from here. Again, 5 and over, 14 overs.
It's wickets that are going to win it now, isn't it?
But they need wickets here, don't they? They'll have to change their field to try and get wickets, hence kind of bring their field in a little bit earlier.
Here comes the man to whom a guiding role comes so naturally, Peter Hanscom, really.
Yeah, he does, yeah. High quality.
Yeah,
well, it's ideal for just someone like him, isn't it? Just knock it around, find the gaps. You don't need to hit it hard. You can negotiate it to the boundary, find the ones and twos. Particularly if you've got a man at the other end, Sol Budinger, and can whack it to all parts. He's 45 not out of 19 deliveries.
I wouldn't mind 2 or 3 more overs of Sol, though, that said.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
that'd be fantastic.
Now, Jaffa Chauhan will bowl from the pavilion end. Great story, Jaffa Chauhan. He's got a long run up too, this spinner. Pretty pacey too. This one's banged in, whipped round the corner for 4 runs. Poor delivery, that's a pro. And now, student.
Who was it? Yeah.
And was given a 1-year contract, having impressed in the nets, and got a 2-year deal after a decent T20 campaign. Here comes Chauhan, and his leg spinner is pulled off the bottom of the bat, and there's 50 for Sol Budinger. That's a brilliant innings. He set off like a rocket and has given real impetus and energy to this Foxes chase. Now, the Soldiers image screen, they're doing a little video. Celebrity video. Him what, doing his hair?
Well, he's got a hair, yeah. That's drier, Adam. You wouldn't know
okay, I wouldn't know. I wonder what it was.
The other thing was a comb.
Budinger 50, 23 deliveries. It's Hanscom off the mark, first ball. Back on his heels and plays it down the ground.
50 off 21 balls.
Haven't really got to come back to that hair joke, sadly.
4 fours and 3. Sorry, 4 sixes, 3 fours.
85 was the score. Budinger back strike. Here comes Chauhan. Tossed up, cut, straight to point. And Budinger is furious with himself because he feels like he's given away a great opportunity. 2 wickets in the over now. Sorry, no, it's not 2 wickets in the over. Is it 2 wickets to fall, though, in quick succession? And Budinger's furious with himself. He got to 50, and he's still beating himself up. Just didn't time it at all. And you won't see a simpler catch all day.
He's gave the team a great start there. Him, himself, and Rishi have been great. 75 and over to give those guys coming in a little bit of time to get in.
Louis Kimber, the new man. But it is a shame to see Budinger, who was flying, head off the field. But that's a real statement innings from him.
Darid Malanda catcher.
And Louis Kimber is the man in. Oh, man, he's been entrusted quite a bit this season. Put him in at what, number 4? He can really hit a long ball, can't he? That's a lot of responsibility. He's sort of given the task of being the big swinger.
Yeah, another somebody with huge potential. He's been given that role in the top of the order in Championship cricket, and we've kind of trusted him to go and kind of try and grab the spot in the batting so far. This is his form.
Pleasant dry down ground, fielded by Joe Root. Turn out east. 86 for 2, 66 required. The final ball of over. Hanscom has a little bit of a fidget with his gloves and stands ready. The crowd finding their voice as Chauhan comes in, and back goes Hanscom. Nicely glides this behind square on the offside. A single is taken. 87 for 2, 65 to win. That's the end of the over. 8 off it. and a wicket for Chauhan. Stem the tide slightly with those 2 quick wickets. Leicestershire with a tiny bit of a rebuilding job to do, but they are way ahead of the pace, going at 12.5 and over, 7 overs gone, 87 for 2. You're listening to live T20 cricket on what has turned into a chilly but sunny Friday night in Ayleston.
Yeah, the openers did their jobs, no question about that. 30 and 50 at, well, pretty much well over 200 strike rate, so they've set it up for the rest of the team to theoretically take it home. We shall see what happens. Well, we are inevitably going to stay with spin.
I thought they'd get this mid-wicket in as well. I thought last over they should have had the mid-wicket in to kind of stop that easy one, and that's the kind of situation they find themselves in. They have to kind of gamble a bit with the field and try and contain and get wickets.
Moriarty then into Hanscom. Bowls. Hanscom goes back, chops it out towards me. Nice chap to talk to. Struggling a little bit in red ball cricket, yeah. And one or two murmurings, I think I can definitely say, as a Yorkshireman. Back goes Kimber, works it past Moriarty, makes something of a meal diving across to his left. It's a beautiful looking dive, just doesn't get anything on the ball. Kimber takes his 1, moves on to 2. They can do this for a while, these two.
Sure can.
Off mid-wicket, deep backward square. As he comes in and bowls, makes a bit of room for himself, Hanscom. Moriarty follows him, but Hanscom just waits and just dabs it around the corner, out towards that sort of deep backward square. Revis comes into field.
I imagine it's a sort of job captain in Yorkshire as well, because there'll be lots of expectation on you being a big county.
Exactly that. They do not expect to be down where they are. Swing and a miss that time from Louis Kimber. It was there, actually, it was a legitimate shot. It was slightly leg side delivery from Moriarty. No real turn for him. Kimber tried to swing it into the leg side, came off the pad. They take the leg by 91 for 2. Single off each ball of the overs so far. Moriarty is in. Hanscom just backs away slightly. Again, Moriarty follows him. Hanscom waits and just clips it out firmly to mid-on. For Yorkshire supporters, Hanscom's in extraordinary form this season. 200s already and a 99 in recent innings. And he made runs in that game at Headingley earlier this season, didn't he? 60 odd, I think he got.
He did.
But it's just got better and better from Peter Hanscom, who came into the season having struggled a little bit for Victoria in the Sheffield Shield, but not for Leicestershire. In goes Moriarty. Huge hit from Kimber, over long gone for 6, and has that gentleman caught it in the crowd? Don't think so. He looked to be made a fist of it, didn't he? But he wasn't quite able to hang on to it.
Got chucked back 10 yards to the right of him, so
that's it. Bounced off his shoulder, did it? But it was a lovely, powerful hit from Louis Kimber, and it just showed the strength of this young man. He moves on to 8, 98 for 2 after just 8 overs.
54 to win then off 12 overs. Anything important, Richard?
It's my wife. I do apologise. I asked for that.
As we check our phones on silent now.
98 for 2. Hanscom 5, Kimber 8. The target 152, and then 98 for 2 are Leicestershire. As the sun sets to our right-hand side. There's in hospitality on the far side of the ground, looking like they're having some fun. That's Chauhan. Thick, long hair comes in. Back goes Hanscom, pushes down the ground. Went for a big heave. He's looking at first, but got it bounce as high as he was expecting. So 99 for 2. Just take this.
He's so far. Obviously, trust the pitch.
Chauhan moving away from us. Up to the wicket, bowls. Oh, it's a beauty. It's a beauty, and I thought he bowled him for a second, but it was the wicket keeper who had. It was Ferreira who had whipped the bails off. That was a proper leg spin. That's a beauty, landing between middle and off, and just moving away from Kimber. Can't do much about that.
A lovely delivery, that. Lovely delivery. Bit of drift in and then spun past the outside edge.
As Chauhan has a chat with Masood, and he's bringing deep backward square leg in and moving deep mid-wicket squarer. It's also a long on and deep backward square leg, deep point out, and that's driven down the ground by Kimber. Slightly cloth, but he'll take a single. It was hit hard enough. Saw plenty of bucket hats on my way in. The what was it? I suppose the trademark clothing item of the one-day cup run, wasn't it? Loads of them.
Very well, didn't it? So
It
nice
went very
piece
well.
of kit, that. Nice piece of kit.
Plenty of them on show in a healthy crowd tonight at Grace Road. Leicester on track to win. Chohan in, back goes Hanscom, sends Kimber back as he's clipped it straight to Masood at mid-wicket. There is no run, 100 for 2. So that required run rate at 4.5. That's 6. There wasn't any pressure, but if any was building, that relieved in the previous over. Tossed up, driven, and that's going to go for 4, is it? There's a chase for deep mid-wicket. Actually, he's going to get there in the end. It's slowed up on the outfield, and so it'll just be 2 to Hanscom. He did find the gaps, hit slightly uppishly, and Masood dived to his left to try and catch it, but 2 more added to the total. 102 for 2, 50 to win.
So you go to Yorkshire from the is it the Western
Western
Terrace? Is it? Yeah.
yes.
Chohan it is, 5 on his back. It's a slower delivery. He's varied up his pace nicely. Finishes the over, 102 for 2. That's 9 overs gone, so they're still going in a decent old lick. Elsewhere around the country, Worcestershire have beaten Lancashire, 172 for 5. They chased down 170 to win that.
You wouldn't have predicted that after yesterday.
No.
They've come back, haven't they?
61 from D'Oliveira there. Birmingham on track to beat Durham, who have had a miserable start. They bowled out for 76 yesterday, 101 today. Birmingham 66 for 3 in the 10th over. Northamptonshire chasing 154 to win. They're 81 for 1 off 7. Decent start to their chase. Those are the games in the Northern Group. Big night for Northamptonshire sport tonight. Northampton Saints against Saracens in the Premiership semi-final. 16-6 at half-time there.
Two
Northampton Saints.
Best in Cuba goes that toward mid. There is mid-wits. It'll just the same Northampton. Long off come in to mid off. Bess is in to Hanscom, who goes back and just dabs it, sort of cuts it down towards third man. Should be 2, as Hilly said, and it is 2. Perfectly placed by Peter Hanscom. He moves into double figures onto 10.
That's all it needs at this stage, isn't it? As well, nothing drastic. You just knock the ball around, needing 4.5 and over in a T20 of 8 wickets remaining.
Bess is in. Hanscom goes back, turns it calmly into the gap at just backward of square, out towards Revis, coming in from that backward square boundary. Jogs 1. 106 for 2. 152 the target, remember. Bess is in. Bowls, quicker delivery onto the legs of Kimber, clips it nicely down towards almost wide long leg, but Revis gets there. Kimber, who lopes down almost the track, got a huge stride on him. It never looks though he's sort of running that fast, but he never looks like he's doing anything too quickly, does he, Louis Kimber? But he's a natural athlete.
He's actually one of the fastest as well, over I think it's 20-metre test, I think we do.
I believe it. Huge strides, absolutely eats up that 22 yards, 108 for 2. Bess is in. Oh, a huge, mighty blow over long on. Scatter on the hospitality tent. It lands on the roof thereof and bounces back down. Flames explode around the ground. What a huge blow that was from Louis Kimber. He really does hit a clean ball. 114 for 2. Kimber on 218.
You spoke about the 100 earlier. There's a few guys that I think could be close with a good T20 campaign. Kimber
is one of them. Bess is in. Kimber
goes
goes down on one knee, pulls it around the corner, sort of sweeps it around the corner, down towards backward square, and comes loping back for the second as Revis fields. 116 for 2 at the halfway point of the innings. 116 for 2 at this stage. Yorkshire were 63 for 3.
Yeah, it's a very solid chase. I'm impressed by Hanscom too, who's played the knock that was necessary at the time.
You get it from him every time, really.
Not been too flash.
White ball, whatever.
And he's had Kimber to be aggressive. 2 sixes from him. Whereas Hanscom can, as Lewis has already said, just pat it around, really.
Just needs to, that's all he needs to do, really, and that's safe.
It's him on strike. So Chauhan beginning his third over.
He still can do that as well.
He's giving it a bit of a heave this time, but it's out to deep mid wicket. And you're right, they are giving Thompson a bit of stick out on the out on the boundary's edge, in front of the what is that? Is that the Uptonsteel stand out there?
It is, yeah. Stench and Benno stand, some people call it.
107 for 2.
Need 35 off 10 overs.
I can do the maths on that, as Kimber does a big heave this time. It's a decent leg spinner. It's tossed outside leg stump, and he ended up having to fetch it outside off stump. So it just tells you how good it was.
A little bit of spin as well, isn't it, from the leg spinner?
Yeah, it is turning for him. Yeah.
Teasing delivery from Chauhan. 2.2 overs, 1 for 13 so far. As he comes in now, and that's a big hit. That's 6. Yeah. Just over the boundary rope down towards Cow Corner. It was tossed up.
As you seen that tossed up, and you see Kimber's backswing coming down, you thought, you know what he's going to try and do with this one.
This is right in the slot. It went.
Well, that was where commentary curse worked quite nicely from a Leicestershire perspective. He's telling you how well Chauhan had bowled, but Kimber, is that his third 6?
Third 6, yeah.
Leicestershire racing towards this total. Could be an early night. Chauhan bowls. That's a leading edge. He went to whip that away on the leg side, pull it, but it was onto him quite quickly, and he's lucky to get away with that. Just squirted out on the offside. There is no run. So Leicestershire need under 30 to win. We're only just halfway through the innings, chasing down 152. Kimber 26 off 13. In comes Chauhan. Swept top edge. This is going to be out. It's going to be caught behind square on the leg side. Just a little bit more bounce from Chauhan than Kimber was expecting, and he chipped it up into the air. Third wicket falls, but the damage perhaps already done, and Kimber's big hitting has pushed Leicestershire even closer to their total. 123 for 3 is the score. The Foxes still need 29 to win, but they've got 9.2 overs to do it.
Malan, again the catcher. Fairly straightforward effort for him. Never looked like making a mistake, but Kimber again did his job.
Yeah, 200 strike rate off 26 off 13. It's all 14 maybe. Lovely little cameo.
Yeah.
Here comes Vian Mulder.
Lovely to see him back for the Foxes in green. Sorry, Billy.
No,
South Africa international.
If they didn't need him with the ball, that's an incredibly positive sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back from South Africa. Got 36 in the last game over in the West Indies. Was prepped for the T20.
I mean, he only got here, I think he got here Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
So it might have been just a rest him for this game with the ball with a lot of travelling.
Certainly didn't need him. Leicestershire bowlers played very well indeed. Chauhan with the final ball of his third over. Short play that me. Thompson it's a grass bump ball. It was from Thompson. He did really well.
Mr. Welch playing, hasn't he? Yeah. Play.
And he's walked away with a bit of a limp as well. That was hooked away, and a brilliant effort. But Mulder survives. He would have been kicking himself if he got out to that delivery, wouldn't it? It was back of a length. It was there to be hit, but he nearly picked out the fielder. So 124 for 3 at the end of the 11th over. 28 to win for the Foxes. They're chasing down 152 in order to win. I didn't give you the rest of the scores, by the way, in the South Division. Somerset 93 for 3, chasing down Essex's total of 193 for 6. Middlesex had a bad campaign last year as well. It hasn't got off to a good start at Lords. Kent 205 for 8 in their innings. I think Zach Crawley did pretty well there.
They've got a home game at Essex, believe it or not, tomorrow. Middlesex, they're playing a home game
there
at
today?
Chelmsford. That's not at Chelmsford now, is it? Could be at Chelmsford now, actually.
No, it is at Chelmsford, you're right.
There you go.
And then Gloucestershire set Sussex 168 to win, and they're 5 for 2 in reply.
Leach, swinging his arms across his chest, comes chasing in and bowls to Vian Mulder, who stands up all the way off the spine. That's bad.
Yeah, that was Malan, wasn't it? That did that. As I said, there's no pressure on the batters, is there?
there's a number 5 drifting behind the floodlights. In goes Leach, and it's pulled by Milan, by Mulder, out to the mid-wicket boundary for 4. It was just very typical of Mulder. I missed that over the first part of the season. Just a little short arm pull that he times away to perfection for 4.
If there's 2 guys you don't probably back of a length and bump to in our team, it's probably these 2 international quality batters, really. That's a fantastic shot in front of the square.
Hanscom and Mulder of Australia and South Africa respectively. 1-2-8 for 3. Leach is in again, a little bit short. Mulder looks a little bit surprised by that one. He stands up and just turns his wrists on it and then holds up his right hand to Peter Hanscom. Says no, that's not worth taking the risk, as mid-wicket came charging in.
What we haven't mentioned is how important a home win is too. We were talking about the home record on the Talking Foxes podcast this week. Just 7 wins at the Uptonsteel County Ground since 2020.
Yep, 7 out of 21. So, yeah, important to bring in the crowds.
Nice to improve that, yeah.
In goes Leach, and it's short, and it's cut by Mulder. Off the back foot, steers it away down towards wide.
What's the away record?
How much better it is, I'm not sure. It is better.
The run to the quarters, and also the following year when you should have got to the quarters, was built in away form, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was. Leach is in. Again, that short arm pull by Mulder. 4. I think it was fractionally short of that mid-wicket boundary. Again, all power and timing from Rehan Mulder. Doesn't overhit it, but he's so
Times
strong.
The ball so well, doesn't he? Like, we're close to the winning post now, aren't we? 20 runs, was it? 22, 18 runs? One of the
134 for 3, 152 needed, 18 to win from 8.1 overs. Well, Fox is going to do their run rate they're going to start with that run rate, and it is important. Yorkshire started very well. Yes, their run rate is well over 3 at the moment, but it does help going forward. Leach is in short, pulled, could be 4 more. No, backwards square. Revis is going to cut it off. It will be just 1 on that occasion. 135 for 3 at the end of the 12th over, 17 to win from 8.
Been a pretty clinical performance from now, hasn't it? Especially with all the talk before about how last year didn't kind of go our way, and it's great for the guys' confidence and for the supporters of Leicester and the guys here to see us put this performance in the first game of the competition. It's great to see.
Hopefully they will turn out in numbers for the next home game.
Absolutely, fingers crossed. Is that next Friday, isn't it, I believe?
Durham here.
Yeah.
Double game actually. Blaze against Western Storm as well.
That's in the afternoon then, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So then the 13th over, Chauhan to bowl it, his final one. It's tossed up, hit down the ground, club for 4. That's a decent shot, brilliant shot from in the down ground, a dart for 4 more. Seeing this on comfortably.
Fantastic hitting that. That's a lovely play shot, and as I say, we've been really clinical all night, even from Hully's first wicket since that moment.
Chauhan in, bowls, back goes Mulder and whips this away into the leg side. They're going to run back for 2. They're slightly casual fielding because I think they thought that it was just going to be 1. So 2 added to the total, and it's just 11 to win now. Halfway through the 13th over. Real battering. Chauhan is in, tosses it up, and Mulder shows decent restraint there to sweep it round the corner for a single. Picks out the fielder running round from deep square leg, and so there is a single added. 10 to win now.
Just by the way, the skies are now clear and it is freezing out.
It is.
It's a little bit chilly.
It's freezing.
It's a cold old night, the last day of May. Chauhan in, bowls, less restraint from Hanscom, who goes for a big heave towards cow corner, big slog sweep, and just gets a single out to deep mid-wicket. 9 to win. So next up for Leicestershire tomorrow, they play Derbyshire at Edgbaston. It's the blast-off is what it's called. 2 games back-to-back. Birmingham host Notts in the evening, but your starter will be with us as Chauhan comes in. Bowls, that's a top edge, but it's going to land between the infield and those in the deep, and so they'll get 2 for it. Mulder trying to, I think he was trying to whip that across the line onto the leg side, but ended up top edging it into the off. 7 to win. Yeah, so we're live on Saturday Sport. Do join us from 2 o'clock for live coverage. It all gets underway at 2:30. Should be a nice healthy crowd there.
I would have thought so, yeah.
Holly's stand, we'll have some fun. As that's a big hit from Mulder, tossed up by Chauhan. Is that going to be 4 runs and split the fielders? No, there's a little bit of teamwork between the 2 men out in the deep there. I think that's Bess and then Thompson. 2 more, 5 to win for Leicestershire. So they aim to chase down 152.
It's been an all-round performance, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. The boys have played the perfect game so far, and yeah, we look like we're matter of time before we knock these 5 runs off and start the competition really positively. Everybody's kind of played their part as well, haven't they? Like with bat ball, and I said at the start we've kind of got each base covered, and looking like that could be the case, and it's a great start.
Yeah, the way that the Foxes have batted has shown just how good the bowling was in the first innings to restrict them to 152.
Dan Moriarty is in from the Bennett end, bowls to Hanscom, who's just working it out towards mid-on. Mid-on is on the edge of the circle, and immediately Hanscom, who is fully aware of everything that's going on in the field at all times, you feel, calls for the run and makes it comfortably. Best looked affronted almost at his temerity, but made his ground, as I say, with lots of time to spare. 4 to win. Moriarty in to Mulder, who goes back, tries to work it out into the offside, but picks out extra cover, so dot ball. Rare thing in this Leicestershire innings. 148 for 3. Moriarty steps in and bowls. Back goes Mulder. An appeal for a catch down the leg side. May have flicked the pad. Yes, that's what happened, according to umpire Adnan.
He's back in your good books again now, is he? Thanks to that signal.
He's a good guy, actually, Hassan Adnan.
Flicks off the pad, hasn't it, that, by the looks of it?
Some umpires have a chat to you, some don't. Hassan Adnan always says hello and has a chat. In goes Moriarty, stays low, and how did that not bowl him? Went through low, Mulder stepped back, tried to punch it into the offside, and he's standing there with his hands on his hip in disbelief. I don't know how quite that...
I stayed a bit low
absolutely
as well,
shot.
didn't it?
That's what I say, it just absolutely shot, and it just missed leg stump. So Moriarty unlucky on that occasion. He is in bowls. Mulder just works that one off his legs down towards backward square. Comfortable single to be taken. 3 to win. Do it in ones if they have to. They have plenty of time. 1 ball left in this 14th over.
And the average score's looking about over 200 here, aren't they? Looking how we've kind of batted.
Moriarty bowls. Hanscom just paddle sweeps it around the corner. Should pick up a couple. Revis runs round to field. 150 is up for the Foxes. 1 will do it. 151 for 3. Looks like it's going to be a 7-wicket win.
It's a great way to start, isn't it, this? Great way to show the supporters that we're going to be in this competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And that's the thing with the home form as well. If you're trying to get people down here, the fact that the home form will be good, you'll have a good experience down here, some great sort of vans and little shops and things, and the nice little pods that you'd see in a beer garden over to our left-hand side.
You know, and there's Mulder's bowling to come as well. Possibly.
Yeah, exactly.
So
of course.
There's depth there.
So 2 to win. To chase down the 152 targets set. Oh yeah, sorry, there was 151, so it is just 1 to win. The score's level. In comes Leach, bowls, and that's hit for 4, is it? 1 bounce 4, what a way to finish from Rehan Mulder, who finishes on 28 not out. That is a thrashing from Leicestershire, and what a start to their T20 campaign. Last year's was miserable, this has started in thrilling fashion. Brilliant bowling to start off with the pace attack, particularly Josh Hull, but some handy spin help too, helping them restrict Yorkshire to just 151, and then some fantastic batting straight off the bat. Brilliant power play from Budinger and Patel setting the tone as they have chased it down, inside 15 overs. That's a great start for Leicestershire. They have thrashed Yorkshire by 7 wickets and have started this T20 Blast campaign in quite some style. Lewis, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like we just said, it's everybody played their part in that game, from Hully's wickets first up, and then to the way the two openers, Sol and Rishi, came out and kind of set the tone for this batting innings. And it's a great start, and with more to come, hopefully. Great start.
Also battle Western Storm.
Well, Leicestershire have battered Yorkshire in the opening game of their T20 Blast campaign 2024. They have won, they've already won half as many games as they won in the entire campaign last year. Lewis, how important for them to start in the way they did? Not just the win to start the momentum, but the performance as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's chipped in that performance, hasn't they? From Hully at the start, to Scott coming back, bowling those 2 overs for 8, and then for Sol and Rishi to start the innings the way they did, and then to be finished by 2 international pros is a great start to the competition.
Richard, you spoke in the week about the batting lineup and the fact that you expected positive things and expected them to be able to chase down totals, but did you expect it to be done in the manner that it was tonight?
Not necessarily. I certainly didn't. I wasn't sure about sort of 79, 80 off the power play, but Sol, Budinger and Rishi Patel have that in them. I wasn't sure whether they'd just temper their approach slightly, given they didn't have a massive total to chase. And sometimes when you're in that situation, you do just think you're a little bit more careful. But they went for their shots anyway, and they connected beautifully. A word for Andy Ward and the groundsman as well, and the ground staff as well, because that is a cracking T20 wicket. And we've got the sort of side that on a good wicket will do the business.
Well, Richard, I'm delighted to say the man that did the business with the ball, Josh Hull, is with me. Mate, what a win, what a start to the campaign. How important to get started in the way that you did?
It's a dream start, really. I think the boys have worked hard, and I think it's paid off there. So, we're so happy with that, and great start to the comp.
Of course, it was such a tough campaign last time out. How much was it discussed, the importance of getting off to a winning start?
Yeah, I think we spoke about it a lot in the winter. Knew the sort of areas where we wanted to improve, and like I say, we've all worked hard for that, and nice to get off to a good start. But that's just game 1, so hopefully we look to build off that and keep going the rest of the comp.
And for you personally, I believe your best figures in a T20 game. Somebody may correct me on that, but how happy are you with your own progress and what you've been able to do tonight?
Best figures tonight for me. Really happy with that. Just let's keep going and see how the rest of the comp goes. But I'm happy.
There's a lot of talk about momentum in T20, and particularly in the Blast campaign, because of how quickly the games come. When you get a win like you did tonight, how great is it knowing that you've got an opportunity to build on that tomorrow straight away?
Yeah, like you say, it is about momentum in T20 cricket, and we got to a good start, and hopefully we can just keep going, keep building that. But you've also got to expect that, luckily it was our day today, and T20 cricket can change quite quick. So I think you just got to keep being positive and keep doing the basics, and hopefully it keeps going our way.
Congrats, mate. Appreciate it. Josh Hull, thanks for joining us on BBC Radio Leicester Sport. I imagine that was a particularly funny image, me interviewing Josh Hull. Adam, I think I'm about 5'3", 5'4". What do we think Josh is? 7.
Yeah, but he's a real star. And I feel like Wood comparison's a little bit lazy because he's tall.